Are we ready? I'm just going to get a big swig.
Get that swig in.
Lube it up.
Yeah, there's some serious feedback on this
Jack,
straw.
do you want a drink?
Yeah, go on.
Well,
what's
John,
up for grabs? Is there
have
anything
one,
that no
really,
one
can you?
wants?
Anything
I don't want
sugar-free?
that boost though.
I didn't
Bruv,
even think
smash
about
the
it.
boost.
Mate,
Okay, I'm gonna smash
Two
the
for the
boost. I'll have
boost.
the boost.
That's what I literally said.
try
I was
it.
like, I totally fucked this because I just didn't, Fuck's
Isotonic,
sake.
yeah? Come on, man's got his isotopes.
I wasn't joking, yeah. You know what, actually, now I was talking about kombucha earlier. I dated this girl for about a month. Biggest sweetheart, like proper thoughtful. Yeah, that looks horrible.
Just sugar, bro.
That looks great.
Just before Christmas, she bought me 25 sugar-free drinks. It was like an advent calendar. Like, she bought literally like a huge sack of just fucking like cans. I took the sugar.
That's really fucking sweet.
Yeah, I don't know why I stopped dating her, to be fair. She was sick.
Wherever you are.
Yeah.
Wherever you are,
touch.
bottle girl. I miss you.
Marina, I'm still thinking about you.
We all are now, by the sound of it. That sounds wild. Like.
These fucking dead beverages.
I'm
That's
drinking a Rio, mate.
65p for a bottle.
I didn't look at the
shouldn't
price.
drink
Oh, you got Rio. You're blessed.
Rio. I got a Rio, mate.
Yeah,
Rio is
Rio's
like
fire.
that. That's like an
Yeah, Rio's-
underground rhythm.
Yeah,
That's
old
shit.
school.
That's an old
That's
school
old
classic,
school.
El Clasico.
But it's like an underground one, though, isn't it? Like, I feel like that's like
I don't know how underground Rio
I think
is.
it's underground. I think that's kind of underground.
It's a bit out of the loop nowadays. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
Like, do you know what
fair.
I mean?
Yeah, you rarely see it in rotation. Oh, we should
What's-
really be recording. This is
It's like
gold.
the poor man's on bongo. Do you know what I mean?
Bongo.
What's the one that you get from the chicken shops? You get the strawberry one.
Miranda.
the orange one.
Miranda.
Oh, come on, bro.
Mirinda, bruv.
That is
Mirinda, bruv.
But we're
Yeah,
trying to act like you're
no
eating in the
shit
chicken
comedian.
shop all the time.
Yeah,
like,
you know
do
what I mean?
you know
Yeah,
what
what's
Strawberry
that one?
Mirinda.
You know them
Yeah.
places that do the
Strawberry
winged,
Mirinda.
the winged snacks. Like,
Hello and welcome.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
No pressure.
No pressure.
First time
It's
back.
always weird, isn't it? When you actually think about the intro, it's kind of like
No, you
just don't think about it, mate.
just
Just
don't
do
think
it.
about it. But anyway, we did say we're going to do a season 2, and we are doing a season 2, and this is episode 1, and we have what I'd probably describe as the tour de force on social media. Right?
I wonder what you was going to say there.
I could have a cougar
That could have all gone wrong.
Nah, but honestly, this guy is it's just I've never seen anything like it, to be honest, man. He's the momentum behind this man is unreal right now.
Keep going. I
Yeah,
like
we've got bars for you, man. Yeah. He's a TikTok titan, I would call him. Oof, just thought of that.
Yeah.
Just thought of that. 2 MCs in the room, by the way. I read about you.
it. Bars.
2 MCs in the room. I'm coming up with the best bars. So, yeah, no, it's a pleasure to have Mr. Mike Mozey in the room with us today.
Woo woo.
Hello.
Easy.
Hello.
happening?
Yeah, no, I'm good. We've just done about 10 minutes before you got it, we just did a whole like preamble episode about, why we've basically slacked for 18 months and not done a podcast. So the listeners will be aware of how we're doing. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good, mate. Yeah, sweet. Just got back from holiday. I've been in Tanzania and
saw that.
Yeah, I
Zanzibar.
saw
that.
Got
Yeah.
engaged out there.
I saw that as well.
Congrats,
Yeah.
mate. Grown up now, mate.
Nah, massive congratulations,
Congratulations.
man. That's a big boy step.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, ladies, that's me out of the game now. But to be honest, my inbox is just full of like 18-year-old boys. That's what happens when you make jump up. Do you know what I mean?
We're going to talk about your fans. Don't worry.
It's not just jump up, mate.
Oh, no.
Bro, my inbox is similar.
When you look at that Spotify, what's it called, demographic thing, man, that just depresses me every time I look at it, man.
Yeah.
It's always like 78% man. I'm just like,
It feels like we're probably the only people still listening to our own music.
yeah. Well, you know what? I thought, genuinely, like being liquid producers, maybe it'll be more of an even split, but no. Nah, you just get more thoughtful, man, in the DMs. You know what I mean?
They've asked for their own split of the pie on Spotify as well. Can we have like a thoughtful man slice of the pie? Like,
26% thoughtful member.
Yeah, no, it's long. Yeah. But no, how was the holiday, man? It
it was amazing. It was I find it like really hard to switch off, like probably like most people, like most creatives or whatever. I find it really difficult to stop working or to stop feeling the pressure to create all the time. So it was like weird trying to force myself into that. I did like some days out there I completely switched off. I mean, when I was doing like the safari, you're just so engrossed in it. But then it gets to like the last week or something like that, and I was just like, I'm just dying to get back now. Like sitting there, like my manager was just getting abused. Like honestly, big up if. Like I was just like messaging him every day. Right, I've had this other idea. And when I told him that I was going to be in Doha airport for 7 hours, he was like, please just leave me alone. Like, do not connect to the Wi-Fi, please. So yeah, it was good, but I'm raring to get back. I'm happy to be working again.
You're gonna replace that actual tan with studio tan pretty quickly, then, yeah.
Yeah, 100%, mate. No, do you know what? I'm fairly olive skinned.
Yeah, you know what?
I stay fairly tan throughout the year, luckily.
I'm probably not the person to be judging white people. Like, I'll be real.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a competition.
I'll be real. Like, I'm going to stay out of this one.
Yeah.
But now it's funny because actually you were saying the same thing. Like, obviously, I know Harry's on holiday at the moment, isn't it? It's like he's still very much in work mode, isn't he?
Harry goes on holiday for 5 days, and I hear from him more than I do when we're meant to be working for 5 days, because he can't. He's like yourself, like you're just so itching to get back into the swing of things.
And if you're on holiday as well, you've just got time where you're not working. Yeah. So if anything, your creative ideas are flowing even more.
Exactly,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I come back, I was like, right, I'm going to be a YouTuber. I spoke to him, like, mate, don't go on holiday again. Like, do you know what I mean?
Complete fucking career shift.
Yeah.
It is interesting with your, because I did see you post about the whole like kind of vlogging thing and like wanting to expand now. What's that come from?
I mean, like my whole thing is I just love like making content and stuff like that, and it's not just like I feel like a lot of people and a lot of brands or whatever, you can really sense when it's forced. Do you know what I mean? And people try and get on board with it because they know that it's, you know, what everyone has to do nowadays. But from leaving school, like I always wanted to be, you know, I wanted to be something creative. I wanted to, I was sort of more into like acting and that side of things. You know, I was studying drama, and then I was just, you know, I was growing up in Essex. I was like, I ain't gonna be a fucking drama student. Like, fuck that. So sort of forgot about it. But then really it was what I always wanted to do. So the way I sort of treat it all now is like I'm just, you're just given free rein to sort of achieve those dreams and to mess about with anything like that you want to do. So if I want to, you know, do a stupid video or try and do something funny, then I'll just crack on and do it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you've got the avenues there to do it. And it just so happens that you can also make music and it all sort of ties in. Yeah. So really, I've just been at a right touch. Do you know what I mean? Like people that think like, yeah, you know, that I'm really trying to do it. It's not. Like, I just like fucking about on camera. And luckily, social media's in at the moment. So I've struck gold, really.
And one thing I've always said about you from the start of when you started doing the whole like TikTok thing is it feels very unforced. And I think that's why it's successful, because I mean, like, not everyone can do that. Just literally just start filming themselves and just say anything and it's funny. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it isn't, do you know what? Like, it isn't as easy as I make it seem. No, it's like, a lot of time I'll really struggle. And if you look back over like my different socials, like there'll be gaps of like 2 or 3 weeks sometimes. And it's the same as writing music. If you're not in the right headspace, it's really hard to create stuff. Like I'll sit down, and that can stress you out as well, because I know that lots of sort of producers and stuff don't even want to get into it because of that stress, because they're like, I can't force myself to do something like that. But then if you've dipped your toe a little bit and you start doing it, it becomes another avenue that you have to try and keep on top of then. Yeah. And people are expecting you to be online and be funny and do stuff. And sometimes if you're in a shit mood, or you haven't been able to write a tune for a month, you don't want to then go on like, you know, you don't want to then go on social media and be like, I'm loving it, because you're struggling with it all as it is. I mean, the reason I started it in the first place was to try and bridge the gap a little bit when lockdown happened, because there was no way of getting your tunes out. There was no way of doing nothing. So, you know, I wanted to create something that I could still share whilst there were no gigs and things like that. So that's why it started. But yeah, it's definitely got its pros and cons, man. I'd say it's not always just putting the phone on yourself and being funny. Do you know what I mean? It is a struggle sometimes.
It's an interesting one, because yeah, from a kind of like, we're going to go there, aren't we? But from like a mental health perspective, I feel like, part of the reason me and Tom have always kind of shied away from like consistently doing social media content was because of that, like the need to feel to create all the time. Yeah. especially like, you know, when you're working a full-time job and like you're limited with time basically.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I put all my focus onto writing this next piano roller wank tune, like, or whatever. Like that basically was the conversation. But weirdly now, like this year we've said, you know, we're actually going to step it up with the social media side. And I think maybe like when you find your little, because I don't want to give away too much about what we're going to be doing, but like it very much fits into our, I guess, brand. I don't want to use that word brand, but like something that feels authentic to us.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that probably is part of it, right? It's when you find something that actually doesn't like feel like you're just stepping away from what you're about too much, and it's like, actually this actually fits into my workflow or whatever I do anyway.
Well, I think a lot of people really had their backup at the start, and that's like the initial reaction to the big change. You know, a lot of people, their starting position is, I'm here to make music. I don't want to do what 16-year-olds are doing, blah, blah, blah. But now times have moved on a little bit. People have, realised that they probably need to do something, but also people have seen that they can do something and they can make it their own. Like you're saying, you know, there's people on there that just do their own thing. And, you know, a lot of people's stuff, take like Fred V or someone like that, for example, you know, sitting there and writing beautiful music and looking at different parts of it and putting like high contrast is the same, you know. He hardly ever does anything to camera, but he'll film himself on these little like cool synths that he's got. So if you find your niche and you can make it your own, not everyone has to be fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? There's people that do that stuff.
Yeah, and that's like literally that's been the mindset change for me very, very recently. It's like, actually we can do something here that still feels legit to us,
even if we're not funny.
Well, I mean, the mad thing is, I think I might be the funniest guy in drum and bass, but like,
yeah.
but like,
He definitely thinks that, but it's definitely
I'm
not
fighting
true, is it?
right now. I'm fighting. I'll say I'm fighting on three fronts right now in terms of being best looking, best dressed, and funniest. Like I'm
delusional.
I'm trying to win the quadruple this season. Do you know what I mean? I'm at Arsenal. I'm trying to fucking I mentioned it again.
We're not bringing up Arsenal again.
I'm going to mention
come on,
Arsenal
G.
at every single opportunity, by the way, just so you all know, like, it's a thing. We have to ride that right now. But
You're an Arsenal supporter.
I'm not a football guy, man.
you and me both,
I
bro.
grew up supporting West Ham because
You
I
and
had
me both,
family
yeah.
that played for them. Like all my family grew up around there, but I'm not a football.
And then let me guess, you got
football guy.
maybe 10 years into supporting at West Ham and you went, I support West Ham. Why the fuck do I care? Because they're always shit. They're always
No, do
losing.
you know what? I was more like, I was always into my like skating and BMXing and all shit like that.
sick.
So it was, the football stuff. It's just an excuse to go down the pub and get on it, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
facts.
when you realise that, you're like, do you know what? I don't actually have to watch football. I can just go down the pub and get on it.
Do you have a favourite skate mixtape from when you were growing up? There's a deep cut
Bruv,
question.
It's the Tony Hawk soundtrack, bruv. Don't
Yeah?
fucking
Okay.
One or two.
I'm a one guy. I'm
okay.
a one.
One,
But
okay.
two is sick as well.
Was one on PlayStation 1?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was,
yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
I think two
yeah,
even
yeah.
was as well.
Yeah, they
Both
was,
of them
yeah,
were,
yeah.
Well,
Also,
them soundtracks are so. Do you know there was a
The remastered one that they did recently.
But you know, there's a band that performs the soundtrack.
What, like a cover band? They just Tony Hawk's Pro Skater
So
cover band?
you know that brewery that people use around here
Oh,
somewhere.
Signature, is it?
Yeah, they went and played a gig in there, and Tony Hawk's turned up.
What?
At the gig. Yeah, it was recently.
That is
I
the
know,
most
it's
random
serious, like-
thing.
Isn't that the one around the corner from your yard?
Yeah, it's pretty close to me, yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Mad.
Big tunes, big tunes.
Yeah, also Tony Hawk's Underground 1 or 2 had an absolutely amazing soundtrack as well. I remember that. It was a bit more, I think it was like PS2 or PS3, but that one had a banging soundtrack.
I know, I'm old school.
OGs for me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
OG
old
ones.
school.
I tell you what, whilst we're on the subject, on the way here I thought of a new segment. And it's very, very straightforward. It's basically what's everyone listening to at the moment.
Oh, yeah, you did mention this at the start.
I think we'll make the rule that it has to be one drum and bass, one non-drum and bass, because you know other music forms are allowed. So why don't you start us off, Mike?
What have I been listening to? Do you know what? I just watched the Elvis film, which is incredible. I don't know if you have seen it, but it is so good. So I was listening to a bit of Elvis. I don't listen to a lot of music. Like I don't. Like, I used to listen to a lot of drum and bass. I mean, you might have a similar thing that I listened to drum and bass all my life, non-stop. And then when you start getting gigs, you know, either every weekend or a lot of weekends, it goes to the bottom of the list. You're like, I cannot listen to any more drum and bass.
Definitely.
So I was like, yeah, radio took. Come on, mate.
happened there? Oh my god, my phone just started
playing
music.
Yeah, Elvis is good, mate. But yeah. Listen to this instead.
You can't remember the album you were listening to.
I was literally just getting on my Spotify, but what's the last thing I saved? Yeah, no, legit.
You asked the question.
Yeah, I had an answer.
Yeah, I thought of a segment. I didn't really think it out.
I think I listen to so much music that I forget, innit? That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so Elvis.
I've been listening to a bit of Elvis lately. Drum and bass wise, I don't even know, man.
What releases are you rating at the moment? Let's make it easy. You can't say your own. You can't say your own.
What did I last buy?
Buy?
Yeah, I still buy music,
records.
man. I still buy. I still
Man,
buy
aren't sending
records.
you records. What's going on?
No, still, because sometimes it's like easier just to
fair.
just to
I respect
I rate
it.
that.
Fair.
grab something. But do you know what I've been buying like a little bit more of recently, because like my sets are changing all the time, and I feel like there's certain stuff that I missed out on where, you know, it was out and everyone's so like today I went on like a little Sub Focus and Dimension and Culture Shock buy up, because I think, well, I'm going to change my sets up, so I'll buy a load of their music, and then I sit there, I'm like, right, that could fit here, that could fit here. And it's like, it shocks me, because there's not saying them three artists, by the way, but there's other stuff that I'll be like, I'm really not that into that kind of, like for me, it was like dance floor stuff. I never really got dance floor drum and bass for ages. And then I slipped a couple in my sets, and then like I think there was a couple of subsonic tunes that I put in my sets, and it just becomes such an integral part of my sets then, and then you just get even more obsessed with it. It's really strange. Like I've sort of found that as I've become a professional DJ, the way I listen to and the way I buy music and my tastes have completely changed. I find that you're listening with one thought on the crowd more. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, I know people say, oh, you just play what you want, and like if they like it,
always.
But I don't really believe in that, man.
We had this conversation, didn't we, on the weekend, because we played a very studenty crowd on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was the case of like, I just can't play deep, introspective, liquid tunes here.
Yeah.
That's just not going to work.
But I mean, I think that's the sad thing about it, though, is that
it sad
should, but equally we know that it doesn't.
I think you can play different styles of sets that you still enjoy.
Yeah,
100%.
That's the better way of phrasing it.
Which kind of then works for the crowd, but you still like, which is kind of what I was.
That's a better way.
Yeah. But I also feel that like my job is, you know, as a DJ, your job is to entertain, and I know that there's DJs out there. You know, there's some famous like Doc Scott quotes and stuff like that. When the way he thinks about it is, you know, you play what you really want to listen to and what you really want to play. If they're on board with it, they're on board with it. If they're not, they're not. But for me personally, I want that crowd to have a fucking amazing time. You know, I'll play stuff. A lot of the time, I'll convince myself afterwards. You know what I mean? I'll play like certain tunes, and I'll be like, well, they're not my favourite, but I know that it'll go off. And then like a couple of weeks of playing them, I'm like, I fucking love that tune. Because you know, the way you're playing it and stuff like that. So although I'm into what I'm into, I'm completely open to playing stuff like, you know, if some people might say, oh, that tune's cheesy or that tune's too dirty and jump, I'll play anything. You know, if I think it'll work in my sets and I enjoy playing it, then I'll play it.
Oh, that's nice. You strike me as someone who can hear a tune one day and maybe go, oh, I'm not too keen on that, but then maybe hear it a month later the second time and have a totally different outlook on it.
Yeah.
Context is really important as well. And when you listen to tunes, man, like, basically what you said, I'm totally on board with, for sure.
Yeah. But context is very true as well, because there's tunes that I've seen people like will post videos of and people like slag off tunes and stuff like that. And I have to say, have you been in a rave and heard that tune? Have you been surrounded by fucking 2,000 people and heard it?
There's a few certain tunes like that, man.
Yeah, it's just a different like a different story, man. Like there's like a lot of that like the 4 to the floor stuff and things like that. People are like, oh, it's fucking techno. It's not even drum. But
I know, I'm still not on board. I'm still not on board with that.
You play that in a club, right?
I'll be real. I'm still not on board with that, man. Allow the gabber. Is what I'm saying.
I've got to agree with you though, bro. Like fully, I watched Sub Focus play a 4/4 tune like a couple months back, and I was not a fan until that moment. And it was just one in an hour set, and that was enough. Where it was just the right timing. You hear it with so many other people just going off to it, and you go, no, that was sick. That was sick. I won't play it, but that was sick.
You won't catch me playing that
You'll
shite.
never see me play that
No,
shit.
you crack on, mate.
Fair. Nah, good answer, man. Right, who's next? Jack? So one non-drum and bass,
one non-drum and bass, one drum and bass. I'm still just going round and round in circles with Kendrick's last album. I'm really enjoying that. And then drum and bass, Sudley. So everything that I'm hearing of Sudley.
You mentioned this guy to me, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good good producer. He's got like lots of dubs and demos that he sent me, and I've been really enjoying them. And then on Saturday he did a Radio 1 mix, and it was full of like weapons, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to hear more of them. I want more of them. So yeah, Sudley, everyone go listen to him.
Nice. Bigging up the newcomers as well. Right, so non-drum and bass. Basically, I'll try and cut a long story short. I found this YouTube channel, this guy who basically just like deep dives into like the putting together of like really famous albums.
Yeah.
It's like he does it super interesting. And he was talking about D'Angelo's album and like Erykah Badu's album, which I think came out basically around the same time. And it basically made me go back and listen to those two albums. I've just been hooked on them again. So like lots of like D'Angelo and stuff like that. You know, real smooth stuff, just wicked music, man.
Baby making music.
Baby making music, absolutely. In my room, on my own, 2 p.m.
With your practicing.
Oh, wow.
Nah, man's doing spreadsheets in that, man. It's not even how it sounds.
What is that move?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
I mean, it doesn't sound pretty.
Bro, imagine doing a spreadsheet.
I'm just doing a spreadsheet. It's my job, man. We'll talk about day jobs, but yeah, I'm just doing work. And then drum and bass. So there's a guy called Vizsla who's done an EP.
That's such a good EP.
Critical.
Is that critical? Yeah. That's
My
sick,
days, like it was weird because like this guy literally had like one release on Spotify from what I could see. I think is it out now? This new EP? I think so. I think it might have just come out. But yeah, I think
Binary Code, isn't it?
Yeah. Badger sent to me a while back, and it's just like, you know, when an EP is like 4 tracks and all 4 of it's all banging.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is ridiculous. So him. And then that Yano guy as well. It's like Yaano.
Yep.
Kind of in that kind of like Bunshin Imanu mold of like, you know, like side chainy, kind of like techie stuff. But it's cool. Like
so it's still melodic. And,
similar to you. Like I was never really into that style. But then the more
I'm still not.
Fair.
I'm joking.
But like I don't know. The more I listen to it, the more I'm like, you know what I like about it? It's different, and it's like. The whole minimal drum and bass thing, I feel like, is starting to get a bit tried and tested. And I think...
Controversial opinion of the episode.
Oh, come on, mate. You know me, man. I'm always... I'm not afraid to air my opinions on this stuff. And it's like, I don't know.
I also just didn't expect you to be the first person in that room to say that.
Why? Like, I just think, like, it's a good style, but like... It's called minimal for a reason, right? There's only so many elements in that tune that you can...
Minimal fans. Minimal listeners.
Minimal time touching grass. Like, it's just like one of them genres where there's only so many elements in it, so there's only so many ways you can skin a cat, whatever the saying is, you know what I mean? So with these guys, they're doing something a bit different, and I'm into it, basically. Sick. So yeah. I should have said Rich's album as well, shouldn't I? To be fair,
yeah. Well, that's been a deep dive listen for many of us.
Didn't say it, but he can say it. So,
what have you been listening to?
I'm definitely not going to say that. I mean, I have, but only from like an A&R perspective because I have to. So yeah. So that's my own problem. Other than that, like future garage wave at the moment, still sort of. Digging.
What is future garage?
I don't know. It's just garage now, and it was
from the future.
Well, it was future garage.
Made yet.
But like, it was future garage about 10 years ago, and now I feel like you can't even get away with that anymore. It's kind of just garage again now, isn't it?
Garage is booming again, right?
Future garage.
You got like Bakey and like Interplanetary Criminal who are just all killing it again, but that's not future garage. That's just like garage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is just garage, really. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I just referred to it like that because I always remember when I got back into it, it was called future garage, but it's not anymore.
That always makes me laugh, isn't it?
But I see a few sets, like I remember seeing a few sets, and it's like you can tell it's a right trendy crowd, and all that. And I'm like flicked on, and I'm sort of watching it. I'm like, this is just a garage set. And they're like, no, this guy's really like pushing boundaries at the moment. I was like, bruv, he's being fucked, do you know what I mean? Geezer's playing a UK garage set. He ain't pushing no boundaries.
It's just reverted back 20 years.
The thing is as well, I think the beauty of it at the moment, the reason I am actually listening to more of it is it's gone more back to the garage roots.
This is what I'm saying.
It's trying to be less pretentious with it currently, which I actually like because I was a huge garage head. So like, I just listened to loads of garage. Went down a Kessler rabbit hole recently. He's got fucking loads of like wicked stuff. Fella's like my favourite producer of all time.
You love him.
Yeah, I fucking love Fella. So like, yeah, if anyone ain't checked him out, go check him out.
What are the crowds like at these things though?
Because I don't go to the raves.
Because the vibe I get is that it's just posh kids, like posh kids listening to garage.
Garage is in a
wild.
weird place, man, because like it's absolutely booting off again. Like the scene is massive.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you've seen any like the Bakey like boiler room sets or anything.
I've been sleeping on all of this.
Nah. But it is.
This is news to me.
I didn't fucking know garage was back. No one fucking told me.
I feel like I've been in a coma the last 18 months. What's happening?
Garage is fully back, man. Like, we obviously like Interplanetary Criminal got a UK #1. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's how back it is. Like,
that ain't a garage track.
Yeah, but he's a garage producer, though, so I'm counting it as garage just by the fact that he makes garage. But
default.
Like, but like, you're right. The crowd's like, it's weird. It's now gone back round to being like 18 years old, like posh white kids again. It's really weird, like how it's happened. But
I feel, do you know what is kind of like? Sorry to get off topic, but like. The crowds at all events are just fucking wild now, man. Like it's, like I was saying this, that my mate come to a rave last night or Saturday with me, and he was sort of standing there. He ain't been to a rave for a while. He's standing there. He's like, kind of weird, this crowd. Like I was like, what do you mean? He was like, there's no trouble. Like everyone's just nice. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know like when that happened, but I mean I'm here for it. Do you know what I mean? Because more trouble at raves.
I'm literally
slowing everyone down.
It slows everyone down.
I swear Ket gets a fucking mention every episode.
Honourable mention.
It actually does.
But yeah, I mean, that is one of the reasons that we're playing it more.
Everyone's
dead raves.
Yeah, everyone's just moving a little bit slower, you know.
Yeah,
like,
70% speed.
Reaction times ain't enough to be swinging at someone. Like,
You go swing for someone, you end up just hugging them.
Yeah, facts.
And then collapsing on them and then flopping down onto the floor.
But I am all here for like less stabbings at raves. Do you know what I mean? Like just to make it clear.
I mean, anything less stabby is better in my opinion.
100%.
I like a bit of danger though. That's why I live in Tottenham.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I couldn't like, especially when I was still drinking that, and I'd be talking to people about raves and that. I was like, I sort of miss it though. Do you know what I mean? I miss a bit of trouble. Like I miss the old fucking whoa, and you look round, there's a big circle opened up. You're like, what's going on here? Like, seeing people getting their like chains and phone snatched and that, you're like, it's all right. I know one of the boys from South. I'm all right. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're all right here. Like thinking you're the bollocks and that. Like, but I don't know.
All right, let's talk about that then, man. Let's talk about your early days in kind of like,
We've still got to get his album in,
we forgot about that.
What? Yeah, we forgot to ask you what you've been listening to.
Drum and bass, you didn't say.
Like honestly, like other than that, I'd say just a bunch of like dubs and stuff, and probably one that stands out most recently is a Skeptical remix of Fall Too Fast.
Oh yeah,
I just fucking love that tune, the original.
Yeah,
I think anything
sick.
Particle touches at the moment is fucking hard. Like No Mistakes as well recently is hard.
His remix of Gravedigger as well by Ennot is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, that'd be it really. I'm not gonna shamelessly plug my album. You guys have done that for me, thanks.
I see Particle in the gym the other day, man. Like, randomly.
Yeah, because he lives in
he's around that way.
Not Haggerston. Where is he?
Homerton.
Yeah,
I was just in the gym. I turned around, I was like, it's fucking Particle. There's only like 8 people in the gym, and 2 of them are drum and bass producers. So.
So yeah, let's talk about kind of your early days then, man. Let's do the deep dive.
I was a raver, man. Like just from like, I can't even remember how. I think I was like 17 when I went to my first rave. It was Transmission at Ali Pali. I think it was either 2005 or 2006. And yeah, that was it really. It was just, I was hooked from there. Just went to raves every weekend. I was always into, like, when I started, I was into like the early jump up raves, like Breaking Science and all stuff like that.
I think we all were, to be honest, when we all started off.
Yeah. And I just loved it. And as I sort of got older, I went to like the deeper stuff and sort of got more into, like Heads and Exit and all different things like that. Started going Sun and Bass, and then started DJing and I started playing on like Bass Drive for a little while, and then Cool, and then I got to a stage where I was like in all honesty, I was like, this music's boring, or everything's boring me a little bit. Like I sort of thought, I don't know where I'm going with it, but I feel
so
like
was just DJing then, not producing at this point.
I think I was having a go at producing, but nothing serious was really coming out of it. And then I started making some beats. Like my first release was on MC recordings, and it was sort of like a bit deeper. And I think at that point I wasn't really sure where my sound was going. You know what I mean? It was like when you're first starting off, I didn't really know what I loved listening to. I didn't know what I wanted to make, and I thought, I don't feel like it's me. Like I don't feel like I can fully express myself. And like the dances that I'd go to, I just felt like it was a bit. I'm in bad company to be saying this sort of thing.
Basically, I fucking hate Liquid.
I'm halfway through this story and I think I can't turn back now. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, you crack on.
No, but like it just wasn't inspiring me, and like. That doesn't mean that I don't love the music and I don't love, listening to it. But for whatever reason, it wasn't really inspiring me, and I felt like my personality didn't really blend with it. And I felt like, in all honesty, I felt like the scene and like the people in the scene, I felt like it wasn't the same sort of thing as I was into. You know, I'd grown up on these jump up raves. I'd grown up. They were all quite rough, and the crowds there were quite rough, and all of a sudden I was going to these events, and like you were saying earlier, it was all posh white kids, like standing there nodding their heads, and I was just like, I'm not really into this. Do you know what I mean? Like I prefer a bit, even if there's more trouble there, I prefer it a bit more vibey, and I felt like it was sort of a little bit snooty. I felt like it was. Yeah, I mean,
chin stroking.
I was literally going to say that.
It was, man. I felt like everyone took it a bit too serious, and I'd be outside in a smokers area at a rave and hearing people talk about it. I was just thinking, "Have you fucking boring, man?" Like, do you know what I mean? The way I heard people, and like Sun and Bass, right? I've had some amazing times at Sun and Bass. Probably because I was off my pickle, but I was like, really having good times in the raves and stuff like that. And then you'd be sitting on the beach and you'd be hearing people talk about the fucking music they're listening to. And I was like, can you fucking hear yourself? Do you know what I mean? Like the way you're describing this music is as though that DJ has just fucking saved someone's life. It's as though he's just performed a fucking heart bypass. It's only a DJ, do you know what I mean? And people were just well too into it. And I was like, nah, this ain't me. This really ain't me. And I just wanted just to have a bit more fun with it. And I started getting back to my roots a little bit, just started sort of playing around with making jump up. Started at the same time listening to, because that was when Souped Up was starting to sort of come up and get a bit of notoriety, and I started listening to that. And when I think I heard Current Values release on Souped Up, City Syndrome, that tune, and I was just like, do you know what, this is that. When I heard that, I knew that that's the direction I needed to go in, because I just thought, this is everything. This is all the reasons. Sorry, is there a camera blinking at me?
Nah, it's fine. It was just doing this.
I just saw your hand. Like,
I was like, oh,
there we go. We're back in the room.
There you go.
I heard that tune and I just knew that was what I got into when I started. It was just, melodic and fun and energetic, and I thought that's what I want to make. And I just started down that route a little bit. And then, fast forward like a year or two, I ended up sending Serum the first tune that he signed for Souped Up, and I've sort of made that home ever since.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's been sweet.
I love that you've going to like Liquid and like deeper events and nights and festivals and stuff, like you've got the love for it, but your experience at those nights didn't like deter you from drum and bass. It deterred you from not even like liking or going or making that kind of music, but just kind of just going to those
scene basically.
Yeah, it's like that crowd really, as opposed to the music.
But then it sounds bad saying that because everyone I know from that scene is amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're all.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, especially you guys. No, but it's true. Like everyone I knew and everyone I met, you know, because I was raving in them raves for a while. But it was just like the general vibe that you got off a lot of people, the way that people thought about the music and stuff like that. I felt like sometimes they put the music a little bit higher than it really was. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I know that this music changes people's lives, and I know all of that. But for me, I don't take anything that seriously. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could be like I do this for a living now. It is my everything, and I love it. But I still don't take it that seriously. And when I hear people that really do, I'm like, chill out.
we should never hang out.
Jesus, he is that guy.
So I'm 100 that guy.
But I've got nothing against people that are like that, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, like I'm, you know, I know people that are people are really into different things, and strangely, I'm not that into music. Do you know what I mean? Like to me, it's more the escape for me. Do you know what I mean? Like I go raving, and I think that's why I attach myself to Jump Up so much, because for me, it's about energy and it's about letting go and it's all about the night out. It's about being out with your mates, about all of that stuff. And I think that is just as important to me as the music itself. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, to be honest, I only was fucking about because like we're on the same page because like escapism is totally like that's exactly what I've wanted.
Haven't you got a tune called The Escapologist?
And a tune called Escapism, and was going to call my album Escapism at one point as well.
He loves escaping.
Loves locking people up.
I'm trying to escape myself through music, basically, but like. Yeah, I suppose the serious thing, it's like it's an interesting one because I don't take it that seriously when I perform, I don't think. But like what I write, I take seriously.
Yeah.
But it's like, but I would never sit there if people are gonna have a conversation about snares and production and like shit like that. I'll never have a conversation like that, but I will big up the music that I love. So it's like, it's each into their own, I think. And what I liked about what you said is like you realised. This ain't you. I'm gonna go where I, feel like I need to be, and like look where it's got you. Like, that's a life lesson for anyone who's sort of sitting there going, oh, actually, it's not really working out for me. Like, maybe think, why isn't it working out for you? And maybe you need to make a similar decision because you're not in the particularly like right place. Because let's face it. We have 3 million subgenres of drum and bass now.
I think you need to be where you can thrive, and that's like not just necessarily in a subgenre, it could be the area that you're living in. I know people that have moved, up sticks and gone to Bristol because that's where they feel they could thrive there. And I think that's what you need to do in life. Do you know what I mean? Like life is too short to not like follow any little opportunity and to give yourself a chance with these little things. If something's not working for you, be it like your job or your hobby or a relationship, there's no point fucking pursuing it. Do you know what I mean? Because you're gonna kick yourself 10 years down the line when you've fucked it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, change is like the thing is that I've definitely learned this in last year. Change is scary, man.
Yeah,
and I think that's the reason people don't do that is because they're scared of the unknown. But I think it's like Rich said, the fact that you did that change and one of the most booked DJs in the fucking world now. So it's just like, clearly, I saw your Instagram post. I was like, bro, he's run out of screen space to post his gigs on this post. I was like, this is mad. Fair play, man. Yeah.
I'm always wondering when that, like, because you know that it could dry up at any minute. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're,
hi.
If you,
you don't need an MC, do you? I've been thinking about getting back into Jump Up for a while now.
What do you like with a camera?
That is like a classic MC bar, isn't it? Like basically, like, well, you could MC, but actually, you could be my cameraman. Like,
some of these drop clips.
Yeah, fucking hell. No, I like. If you've been in the scene for a while or you've been around the scene for a while, then you know how fickle it is, and you know how nothing is guaranteed really. Like you would have all seen artists that looked like they were about to blow up, and everyone was like, they're the guy, and then either they disappear or they just don't really get where you think they'd go. And we all know that, you know, there's only two directions really. It's either up or down. If you start falling from that position, it's normally you're on your way out sort of thing. And it's scary, man, because it's not like a normal job where you just, you know, if you put in the work, then that's all right. You've got a fairly secure job on the go. Do you know what I mean? I am fully aware that it could disappear at any point. So you just have to sort of hammer it as hard as you can and enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, not to take away from the absolutely spot on point you just made. It's one thing from working on at a label perspective, things like over at Solvent, when speaking to artists and talking about kind of like longevity and giving yourself the best security you can. It's why I'm just such a firm believer that like everyone who's taking the time to produce singles and EPs every now and then should at some point take that time and commit to the album. Because once you get yourself into that kind of swing of production, and again, this is not saying like this is gospel, but I just feel like you're doing yourself as many favors as you can. You're securing that catalog that 20 years down the line will still generate some sort of revenue. Yeah. And you're just backing yourself. You're giving yourself that safety net, really. Yeah. But I do absolutely agree with you. Like, it's when you go full time with this shit and you commit to it, it's fucking scary because anything you do, you worry could jeopardize the next 12 months worth of gigs, and i.e. whether you can pay your rent or not. Yeah. I mean, like the other thing as well, you were talking about, you know, doing your EPs and singles and stuff like that. I think, like from the longevity point of view, it's very tempting when your profile goes up a bit. You know, you sort of look and you think, well, should I be going a little bit more commercial now, or should I be doing that? And I mean, I know, you know, even you guys have done some stuff that.
I was going to say, you're talking to the king, bro.
You're talking to Mr. Commerce.
You're talking to Mr. Beyonce.
Fucking Jay-Z over here, But what I mean is like, it's very like tempting to just go full steam with that stuff, but I feel like you have to keep your toe in the water a little bit of where you come 100%. From. And I know you guys are still doing that. Yeah. And that was one thing that like everyone that I know that I really respect their opinion, I'd be like, oh, look, I've done this with this, you know, it's quite radio friendly. But they was like, yeah, all good. But don't stop making what you're making. Trust me, do you know what I mean?
I think because
everyone would agree there as well.
Yeah. Drum and bass is such a weird genre in the fact that like, it's never been fully commercial. It's always had a toe in the fucking like radio world, but really it's still an underground genre.
Yeah, I feel like the last 6 months, that's where that's all changed.
No, but the thing is, I would say this has happened before though. Look at Shy FX like 20 years ago. This has happened before.
It's cyclical, isn't it? It's completely cyclical.
And it is.
I think you had drum and bass artists in the past that have charted and then ultimately still remained like they are drum and bass artists, right? But now at the moment, there are a couple of artists floating around that are like
pop artists.
We're talking about like the Ven beating and all that sort of.
Yeah, Pink Pantheress and Period.
But they were never drum. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
There is a little pocket of artists that have kind of almost sidestepped the whole spend 10 years in the drum and bass scene working my way up.
This is the problem like with that, and like, you know, I know some of the guys that are doing that and they're fucking sweet as they're all really nice guys, but the problem with that is when it dips back underground, which it will inevitably do.
It's not trend anymore.
You can't, you know, you haven't got the roots there then that will keep your head above the water. And some of them guys, you know, there's people that are having commercial success at the moment, like Goddard, for example, who was making sort of deeper, darker stuff beforehand anyway. Yeah, so for someone like that, I don't think will have any problem reverting and making what he wants to make. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think anyone that hasn't, you know, built that sort of that basis, that fan base in the raves and stuff like that, will always find themselves in a little bit of a precarious position, because you can always fall back on your fans and the ravers, and that's one thing that no matter what I get to, or if I, you know, try and do radio stuff, I will always rely on my home, which I'm about to drop. My home is the rave. It's a fucking, it's a headache. It's a headaches line. But what I mean is, you know, that's where your fan base are. They're in the raves and they're out every weekend, which is something that is nice and you can hopefully rely on. Do you know what I mean?
The foundation is key.
Yeah,
the foundation is key. Yeah, I thought that for day one, and like, you know, I'm not getting any younger. Like classic middle school like thing to say, I think, but like it's important. Like you need it in order to build off it. If you don't have it, like you said, it's a much more dangerous place to be. Yeah. Like, and I've always thought it's like just important from the perspective of like, if you want to have integrity in doing something as well, like it's important to build that first, regardless. For me, as a chin stroking MC, but that's kind of like my view on things. I think it's, I don't know, it shows integrity and it shows you care. Whatever you do beyond that, like I think you got to have fun with it, and there shouldn't be constraints because it's music. But like, just having that foundation, like that you build upon, I think is like quite.
But you can always look yourself in the mirror as well. I mean, like, I know I like doing that, but no, you like this whole thing, you know, the drum and bass scene, the jungle scene, whatever it is such a, like, you know, it's such a cool thing. It's such like it's the UK heritage thing about it, and you'll always know that you're out there playing them raves, like you're part of that drum and bass scene. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that you're still part of that underground is a thing that I think we can all be very proud of.
I think that's the thing that keeps me tired, because like I have this rant with a lot of different people. Like there's so many things I hate about the drum and bass scene. Like we all know what those things are, but like it's that kind of like pride thing about the fact that this is a UK and almost to a certain degree just like London genre that has come out of nowhere and it's gone wild.
What, you don't like that, or you like that?
No, this is what I'm saying. This is the thing I like about it. I actually hate England, and I hate everything about it. Well, it's not too far from the truth.
No, bro, do you know what? I am like against the whole fucking patriotic thing and all that. Do you know what I mean?
But I think London's different to the UK, though, I will say that. For me, London,
definitely,
it's a different country, basically.
Big fucking left wing bubble down there.
You got there in the end. But that's one thing I always look back with pride, to be like, I'm just been a small part of that. Like, do you know what
100%,
I mean?
man.
This like very London-centric, UK-centric genre.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I'm waiting for it, to be fair. So this is a complete, well, not a complete diversion, but you know how Drake's been doing the whole, like, he's done the Afrobeat thing, he's done the drill thing.
You're waiting for him to come to drum and bass.
I promise you,
it's happening. It's gonna come.
He's gonna do one random jungle rhythm, and then we can all be like, "Yo!"
And when he fucking does, Pola and Bryson will be
all over that.
Me, Harry, and Beyonce, bro. Do the tune with Drake.
Come on. Now, I promise you, Drake's, he's got that jungle rhythm loaded, man. I'm telling you. Like, but yeah, no, that's one thing I will say I love about it.
I mean, I went to the Fabio and Groove Rider and Outlook Orchestra thing at the South Bank on Friday, and I went like knowing it was going to be good. I knew I was going to really enjoy it, but then like I left and got home and was just like, I really want. Like, I had exactly that moment where I was just kind of like, even though everything I just witnessed had nothing to do with me, it was the genius of everybody that came before, I just felt so privileged and kind of just happy to kind of say that like what those guys created and what all of the people that have come through 30 plus years of history and heritage and shit, and it's like just to say that we have a little blip in that.
Getting on to 40 years old now, man. It's not like a new. This thing's been around for a minute. Also, the fact they're getting so much love still as well really makes me happy. Like, the fact these guys haven't been forgotten, that's another thing as well. And if you've ever met Fabio Groove, you know that's absolute legends, man. The nicest dudes.
There's a lot of loyalty in D&B as well. I feel,
yeah, for sure. Maybe sometimes too much, which is one of the things that jars me a little bit.
It's like those conversations on the beach at Sun and Bass.
I'm just thinking, honestly,
that's Rich. Like, I bet you were sat next to Rich.
Mate. I'm going to get that tattoo one day. Tattoo.
The idea of being like 55 having bare labels tattooed on your arm is like, it's a bit mad, isn't it? Like, but then also, but I also kind of love it at the same time. It's not going to be me, but like you lot do that.
You just crack on.
It's sick, but yeah.
I got dirty drum and bass tat.
Oh, you do, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Got high contrast
you got cameras now.
It was the first record I ever bought, first dance record I ever bought, and it like it really holds like a special place to me. Like, and it was one of them like. I look at this tattoo every day in the fucking mirror and I go, why, you dumb fuck? Like, why did you do that? But it's not because of the tune, it's because of the tattoos. Like all of the tattoos that I've got, luckily I can hide them quite easily, but they are all my tramp stamp on the back, for example. Like, I don't like any of them. I think they're all a bit shit.
Original nutter down the
He's got a tribal one as well. When he goes to New Zealand, he's got to cover that one up. He's got a full tribal tattoo.
But like, I've got 20 tattoos and I don't like them, but I like, and I would get them covered up in a heartbeat, but like I don't dislike that tune, and I'm fucking gassed about that tune, and it was like a pivotal thing.
That vinyl, that album was amazing. To be fair, I'm not gonna front. That album was amazing.
It was fucking good.
Did you actually specify what it was?
Sorry, no, it was Return of Forever by High Contrast. And I was like the first drum.
That's a classic.
It's a fucking great tune, and like it was one of those things that when I was 21, if I could go back now and slap myself as I was walking into that tattoo parlor, I fucking would. But
there are moments in time, isn't they?
That's it. Has anyone got a Mozey tattoo that you know of?
Yeah, man.
Hold on a minute.
There's quite a few.
I missed that. Wow.
Bro,
Okay.
it is so wild. Like, it fucking really blows my... The first one, some geezer come up to me just off his nut and he was like, can you sign my arm? And I was like, yeah, all right. Like, this is a bit weird. Like, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to get a tattoo. And I was like, yeah, of course you are. Like, just fucking sign his arm. And then he come up to, or he like messaged me on Instagram. So he was like, oh, look, I got it done. I was like, brother, you mad? Like, fuck. And then like
Did you draw a little dick on his arm as well?
No,
you should have done that.
But, and then there was like another person got it done, and then a girl messaged me and was like, just randomly one night, she was like, can you write Mozey is my dad?
Yeah, right. I need to talk about this whole dad thing as well.
Yeah, the dad thing.
Because I've noticed you, Serum, Voltage, for some reason.
Yeah, you everyone's dad.
For some reason, you've got 9 billion kids. Like, how's this?
Like, it was their thing. Like, it was Serum and Voltage, I think, like, were doing this thing. And then, like, I don't know whether it was just by association. Like, I was just on TikTok and stuff like that. People were just like, all right, dad. And I was like, oh, fuck, I've got old, man. Like, I didn't really see it happening. It was over lockdown. Like, I'm sure a lot of people went through this, but you come out of the other side of lockdown, you was like, I just fucking got old over lockdown. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And like, I felt really old all of a sudden, and then people started calling me dad. And obviously, I'm not going to miss a bit of fucking promo. Do you know what I mean? if there's something to be done, I'll do it. And I was like, oh, I'll fucking go with this. And then it just got ridiculous. But then the other thing,
I swear someone bought adoption papers to one of your radio.
Yeah. I've had that as well. I've had that.
Casual.
Yeah, so you actually adopted somebody?
Nah. It was a birth certificate. And I was like, look, bring a photocopy. She was like, no, it's all right. I've got a spare. And I was like, yeah, but like, that's an official document.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, I haven't got a photocopy. I was like, all right. Like, so she bought it to Printworks. And I signed it. It's just got like dad, and it's got her dad's name. And then I just had to like sign instead of it. Like, I was like, imagine if her poor dad's watching that. Like, oh, cheers. So yeah, people really get on board with stuff, man. But I fucking love it, like, because like my little even like my girlfriend, when she meets people, like when we're out at raves and stuff like that, she says like they're so polite and they're so nice. They're just not like we were at all. Do you know what I mean? Like I was just a little shit, man, when I was raving. And like the kids now are just so nice. They're so lovely. They all come up and like ask you like can they get a photo and like things like that.
It's a bit different now, I would say, like in terms of like I hate using the word, but fan DJ relationship definitely feels way different now, man.
Well, do you know what that? Sorry, I get emotional talking about my fans. Do you know what? Like, that was one of the main reasons why I really go heavy on like the fan stuff, because I remember what it was like with the DJs when we were growing up. Like, and some of them were just fucking rude, man. Like, you know, no names or anything, but there'd be people, and at the time, I remember sort of thinking, or people would talk about it and they'd say, yeah, but imagine like everyone coming up to you at every rave and blah, blah, blah. Like, I fucking get that now, and I'm not rude to it. So now, looking back, like, you have no excuse, really.
Totally. And the thing is, the artists that you may have met like 10, 15, 20 years ago, like in the rave when you were going raving and in the smoking area, the people you might bump into, the ones you do remember are the ones that give you the time of day, and they're blessed, and they want to chat to you and say thanks for coming down.
And also, there's a lot to be said for like the fact that, like, I remember when I was like a bit older going to raves, but like just starting to produce, the DJs that gave me the time of day to actually talk to me about music as well.
Newtone.
Like,
Newtone was my
so for me it was like Lensman,
NSB, for 3 hours and let me chat shit in his ear. Like.
Those kind of guys, like, if they hadn't basically given me the time of day and like then gave me feedback and blah blah blah, you know, who's to say what would have happened? But like, that's a big thing. Although we will come onto the whole sober thing, because I will say, having been sober for 6 months, it's a different experience now, talking to fans that are absolutely off their head. We'll come on to that. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for just being nice and polite. And
mate, 100%.
Yeah, and costs nothing, does it?
No, and I just see it like, I wouldn't be rude to anyone before I was a DJ or before I was a producer. So you can't like start being a dick now, do you know what I mean? And all them people that are or were, like, surely they just always have been dicks, do you know what I mean? It's not just necessarily the DJ thing. Did you just look at him then? I swear.
For context, John looks at Rich.
It wouldn't surprise me.
But we can check the camera back. But I was like, the people that have been dicks. And you literally went side eye. Wow.
Nah, I was actually looking at Rich because Rich is. I think you're good with fans. Like that was my thing. I was actually thinking, I think
I'm a polite guy.
I think you're pretty good with fans, man.
Yeah, I try to be. I think it's like when someone is sort of supporting you in doing what effectively for me has been a lifelong dream, not to be cliche and cringe, but it has, and especially not to go too much into the MC moan zone.
Go into it. We've got to give you a moment.
It's just not like, it's not as, I don't know, like it's a tougher place to be, I think personally, from a like fan perspective, because you get a lot of fucking stick and you have to really want to do it, I think, to be an MC, because it's a constant battle with, are you doing the right, like, you know, am I doing the right thing? Like, do people even like what I'm doing? Like, you know, you go online on a set, you just be reading fucking absolute slatery. So it's like the people that do actually get it, when like effectively what I'm writing is, you know, kind of like very open, deep nonsense.
It's wanky, yeah.
Yeah, it's proper wanky. So it's like, if someone like connects with it, then it's like it holds value for me a lot.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm a bit Marmite. I'm pretty niche. I'm not your kind of like fun MC who, like, you know, just is there for a fucking laugh. Like,
it's like the worst Tinder profile I've ever heard this.
But it's like, it's true. It's like I can't be anything but that. Like, you know, it's like I want to write openly about like mental health and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, anyone who's vibing with that and connects with it, it's like, yeah, it means a lot, and it's kind of the reason I do it, if I'm honest. So, I mean, there's no way of me avoiding being an absolute cheesy wanker right now, but yeah,
but I love you, fans. I fucking love you. Now, you are like what you said about, you know, just feeling very lucky to have, like, it was weird for me at the start. Do you know what I mean? Like it was Hospitality in the Park, that one, the big festival thing was the first time I'd been out, like, really, and seen loads of fans, and I was with my missus and my best pal, and we was walking through, and I was like, this is fucking mental, like, because I went from I'd never had a fan approach me ever, to like literally hundreds, because you know it's light for one, everyone's like sober at the start of the day, and there's thousands of people around, so you get loads of people, and I was like, this is insane, and now I'm quite used to it, but it's just, it is such a nice feeling, man, like you were saying, and people like are genuine, and I know you get people that will be like, you're my favourite, blah blah blah, you're like, yeah, you fucking say that to everyone. Shit. But like, you know, people, the fact that people have taken time, and when you can see that people are genuinely like nervous to come up to you or something like that, it's like, this is fucking mad. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're like, in your head, you're still the same person you were, like,
it's like
just before you started.
I made them choose my bedroom. It's not that deep, is
it? It's good to, like, obviously remain humble in that, and like, I think what you're speaking on a totally different level, and that's because like you're on an absolute wave at the moment, which is sick. But I suppose at any level, it's just something to be appreciated. Even like one person liking it, it's like, fucking hell. Like, you didn't do it. You didn't start out for people to like your music. You started out like to create and express yourself for whatever the fucking reason it was. And then for someone just to like sort of give back in and feed back into that, and almost like inspire you to do that more. You know, that's just the beauty of it, really. For me,
man,
like,
definitely.
So one thing I feel like you may have glossed over, and I read this online, I did do some research, but a complete amateur, was the fact that you started as an MC.
Yeah, so I started...
I need to hear about this.
No, so I started... like I used to do, basically I was just trying to be involved in the rave scene, however I could. And before like drum and bass MCing, I was like really into my UK hip hop, and I used to like do the sort of like hip hop rapping stuff, like write bars to that, and I was really into that. So then that was just a sort of natural progression into trying to MC at drum and bass raves, but it was mainly just to try and fucking get in for free at the raves and just try and be part of the scene. And then, you know, I was just trying to sort of get my foot in where I could. But yeah, I mean, I've like, as far as that goes, like the MC culture has always been a massive part of what I'm into. You know, like when you see people, like you were saying online, you see people saying, this set would be better. Like the MCs, like
classic
fucking
comment.
hell, man. Like fair enough. Some MCs do ruin a set, do you know what I mean? But that's a different story. But like, I'm massively into the MC culture, like the MCs at raves. I think
it's weird to DJ without an MC.
I hate it. I think
it's weird.
Hate MCing.
It's not fun at all.
No, I mean, I'll get on the mic if I have to myself and just sort of host myself. But like, I'd rather have a shit MC than no MC, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Because you'd rather have someone. But like the MC thing, I think it's so much harder being a good MC than it is being a good DJ. Like in reality, anyone can fucking DJ. Do you know what I mean? Especially nowadays with technology.
Music to my ears as someone who DJs and MCs. I can guarantee, I can confirm, it is way harder to MC currently than DJ. Maybe bring back vinyl. We've got a bit more of an even playing field.
But I think it's like I think with MCing, you've either got it or you ain't. I don't think it's something that you can learn DJing and you can get better at MCing. Don't get me wrong. But like realistically, like I mean, there's only like a handful that really like smash it out of the park. Do you know what I mean? In each little each little subgenre, and you'll get hundreds. Like I'm sorry if there's any like beginner MCs listening to this, but like there's a reason why you only get a select handful in each scene that really prosper and they do it for a long time. It's because it's so difficult, and you know, like you were saying, some people will listen and connect and stuff like that. You've really got to connect with people, and hats off to the MCs. Like I really do sort of appreciate everything they do.
To any budding MCs, it's usually not that guy that tries to spit in your ear at a rave. Just an FYI. Especially if you're on stage currently MCing.
That's usually me, to be fair.
I think it's massively important for the culture and the history of drum and bass as well that MCs are like pushed.
Well, it came from the whole like reggae dub toast culture. Like, it literally came from that. So
that's what I'm saying. Like
we can't erase it.
It's as important as drum and bass itself. I think it's the same thing as like reloads. Like you play in some countries and some people come up to you after and they go, "Oh, it was really, really cool, but why did you stop the tune?"
They hate a reload.
And I'm like, go Google what a reload is, educate yourself, then come back and ask me the same question. And if you still got the same question, then there's not really much of a conversation to have here because you shouldn't be asking it. It's like it's important. It's got to be there. Dumb fuck. Sorry.
But I played at a festival in New Zealand and I was hosting like the mic myself. And at one point I was just like, when I say rewind, you say fuck off like that, and done it. And when I come off the stage afterwards, like the promoter was like, that was a bit wild. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, we don't really do that here. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I wish you fucking give me the heads up. Like.
Actually, that's true. Actually, now I think about it, I don't think I did a single reload in my last tour. Which is really? for me, that's mad.
It was noted.
Me, Ollie, and Eli had a fucking like blast, just reloading each other's shit.
Just reload every chain.
I can't get over Trigger Finger John not doing a fucking reload on.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a very obvious reason why.
Okay,
it's because I'm sober now.
Oh, yeah.
So I just don't do reloads when I'm sober.
Is this the death of Trigger Finger John?
Trigger Finger John and his 30 plus kg that he had before. All of that shit's gone now. Oh, it's a new man. No reloads, no smiles, a serious blend. That's it.
Fucking PG tips over
that's
there.
It, just serious blends.
Can I ask, you said UK hip hop, like who were your like influences in that?
You want to bang on about the MCing, don't you? Typical.
I really do, yeah.
So I was like really into Task Force, Jest.
Yes.
That's his favourite rapper of all time. Can you tell
John how good Jest is? Because he's
Jest is unreal, man.
Like, are you not aware of Jest or just not a fan?
To be fair, I
know who Jest is.
My opinion is Jest for me is the greatest rapper. Which is period.
That's crap.
I'm with you, John. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know Jest is amazing, but
all I can say about that,
he's the best rapper. Period.
All I can say about that opinion, that is pure crack. Right, that's crack.
I used to be very into Jest.
Yes,
like some of his old tunes, like just the flow and the word. Like I don't want to get too deep on it, but yeah, I fucking loved him, man.
Love that.
And then like Mud Fam and all that stuff. Like I really, bro. Do you know one of the guys from Mud Fam like randomly liked or commented on something that I did? What's his fucking name? Is it Mongo from Mud Family? And I think he's from North London somewhere. And he just like commented on one of my things, and I was I was like fangirling. I was like, yes, bro. And there's a few people like in the last couple of years, there's a few people that I've either like met or done, and people are like really confused why I'm like so gassed about it. It was like when I first met Pav, like the first time I met Pav, and like there's all like big like DJs in the room and stuff like that. I was like, it's fucking Pav from Foreign Beggars. I was like, do you mind if I get a photo, bro? And all that. He's like, yeah, cool. So we sat there and just had like a big chat about like Foreign Beggars and all stuff like that. And like little moments like that, I'm like, I'm fucking living the dream. Like, this is wild. Do you know what I mean? Thinking about little 15-year-old me smoking a joint, listening to Foreign Beggars. Like,
that's always so rewarding, though, man. Like meeting like your idols that may not necessarily seem significant to other people, but when you do, it's such a gas moment, man. Yeah,
man, and them little opportunities that arise through the music that you're making. And you meet people, and it's like, you know, they. I think it's like really nice as well when they're not like directly in what you're doing as well. So they just sort of like chat to you a bit, and it's not, there's no like competition or nothing like that. And you just sort of stand there having a beer and having a chat with someone. You're like, fuck, man, like I'm a super fan. Like,
so, growing up in Forest Gate, I worked in multiple pubs, and DWE used to come in my pubs. Every pub I worked in used to come in my pubs.
That's a gas moment, though.
And every single time this man came in my pubs for about a 10-year period, he drank for free. Like double JD and Coke every time. Him and his missus would always drink for free, and I would just hook him up. And he would always come in and just go straight to me instead of any other bar staff, because he's like, that's where I'm getting my free drinks. I'm going to that guy. And then I was at hospitality in the park.
Oh yeah, I got a picture of him that year.
Backstage.
He was
playing on the other stage, and we were playing, and I walked up to him and he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Because he just knows me as Free JD guy. Like, that's who I am. Like,
do us a favour, bruv, get us a drink.
But like meeting with him and chatting to him in that environment, but then also kind of having that prior interaction just in the normal world was just really surreal. And it was about, because that guy is literally like my hero. Like growing up there and listening to grime, growing up and shit, just like that man was a pioneer.
I got a photo of him that year.
Nasty crew.
And he is the most unhappy looking man in the photo of all time. It's me, him, and
Which
Randall.
Is alive. He's next to you.
Yeah, I know. That's mad. It's me, him, and Randall on the phone. Randall's beaming, I'm beaming, and DWE's just looking screw face. I do not want to be in this photo. But shout out DWE, what a legend.
Mate, do you know what? Something you just said there, like about, you know, you grew up listening to him, and it was all like a gradual. I think that's one of the things that I really love about being in the scene at the moment, which I think you can only really appreciate it if you're an old fucker like us. And you know, there's people that are older, obviously, but the fact that you've been raving to it, the fact that you put all of those years of your life into it, and then you gradually like seep into the scene little by little, and then all of a sudden you're just in it, and it's like you find yourself, like I remember the first time you sort of standing on stage, I remember like Frost and Brian G just standing next to me and sort of chatting to me and asking how I was and that, and I was just like, fuck, this is one of them moments, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, and like those little moments happen all the time until eventually it's just a natural part of your life, and you have to pinch yourself every now and then and be like, this is just like everything I've grown up on. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and you're now in it.
Yeah, man. Like you're sort of 15 years deep of like raving and everything first, and then you get to that point, it's fucking sick.
Have you had any of the, like people like Brian G and stuff like watch you DJ?
Yeah, bruv, do you know one of the most nervous I was, right, is when I started management with Rinse, so like Genius and If for like my management. And I'd always looked up to Genius, like, you know, like you're sort of East London, so you'd know about Rinse and stuff like that. And Genius, because I knew him through Doug's, I knew what he was like as a producer and like a manager and all these different things. And then I just sort of signed with him for management. And I was playing in Fabric, and then like, I turned around and he's just standing there with a drink, just leaning on the speaker, just watching me for my whole set. And I was like, bruv, please fuck off, like, do you know what I mean? This is killing me, like. But there was a few, like when I first started getting like a few gigs, like my DJing weren't really nothing to write home about, and it was like, you know, when you're sort of standing next to something, like one of my first proper gigs, I was back to back with Bish, who's like one of the Bristol guys, and he's a fucking, like a lot of them boys, just fucking wizards jumping about doing all of that. And I was like struggling to find the tune. I'm looking on I'm looking on his USB, and I'm like just hand shaking, and I was like, oh, this is a fucking nightmare. And you know that dream that you have where you run out of tune? I genuinely thought that was actually going to happen in a rave. Like I was like, right, breakdown, right, that's all right, we'll wait for the breakdown. Like,
I'll long that one off.
But like luckily now I feel sort of super confident on the decks. I still make mistakes like everyone does, but you know, I sort of feel comfortable enough that
you style it out though, can't you?
Yeah, bro. I feel like any DJ I like. You know, I've played with AMC standing there or Andy C standing there, and it doesn't bother me now. I'm like, I know that I can do my thing. But when you first, you know, you're a bit shaky and you sort of got these legends standing behind you, you're like, oh, I could do without this. Really.
That's funny, man. Like I would feel very, very similar. Like,
I was going to say, you must have one like this. Like.
But like Sun and Bass this year, or last year, obviously, 2022, yeah, I remember I had one moment where, because we were playing on Marky's night, I just had this one moment where I turned around, like, Fabio was like one side and then Frost was the other, and I was just like, it never ever occurred to me before, like, okay, you've got like the actual like founders of the scene watching you DJ, and suddenly I felt a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had that before, but like that was the one time I think I've experienced that recently. You must have had it with what was it? Hospitality
on the beach
with Randall was just behind you the whole time.
We were playing a set, and like people had been getting kicked off the stage, and we were closing a Solvent stage, and I was like, no, for our set, like 2 hours, everyone just come and.
I was in the crowd.
Like, were you in the crowd? I
was in the crowd.
You done it.
I was so pickled, bro. I was so
mate.
Because the last hour, I think, you was the only thing that was open, so it got mobbed.
Was this a Solvent stage?
Yeah, we had like we were before you.
Yeah, I was hosting.
Yeah, you were hosting.
But that was a sick set.
That night was sick, man.
And it was like the end of the holiday, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was just
set
sick.
festival.
Sick,
and fucking Simone.
How mad is that, by the way? The fact you were in the crowd for that as well. That's so crazy.
Like I said, everything else was closed. No, bro, do you know what? Like, in all honesty, like you guys, like, so I'm pointing at Pola and Bryson's music here because you can't see me, but like out of everything, like out of all the different DJs, like there's always like 2 or 3 of your tracks in my sets.
Oh, bless you,
which
mate.
is like, considering I play jump up raves and jump up
quite
sets,
surprising.
you know what I mean? Like, and I fucking love it. And there's like, you know, there's only a couple of artists really that are like that. So yeah, I would have come to watch you anyway. That's what I'm saying.
Do you know what's funny about the different perspective of you talking about that is, like, from an MC's like perspective, it's like you actually end up on set with these people. It's like, I remember like literally one of the first times I played with Randall, and I just had this moment being like, I used to like, it was all about 11 years old on a fucking bus, who's got the freshest Randall tape, and me and my mate like listening to it, and then it's like I'm like on set with like my hero playing. Don't get me wrong, he can't hear me luckily, but the fact I'm there, it's like them fucking moments, and yeah, it's mad, isn't it? All of a sudden he's calling you vision shit, and you're like sharing drinks and stuff. It is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Like, the worst one I definitely had was New Year's Eve, played 11 till midnight, and then turned to the right, being like, next DJ should definitely be here at this point. Turn to my right like 20 minutes before the end, and Caliber is just stood there staring at me.
Yeah, he's
I was like, he's here really early.
He freaks me out still. Caliber freaks me out.
He stands there motionless, staring at me. I don't want to play for you, man. Like, this is scary because like this is one of the best at what he does. Like, he does better than Caliber.
There's levels in that.
There's levels. There is levels. Like, I don't get nervous being any DJ in this scene. Yeah,
bar
apart
Caliber.
from Caliber.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
The guy's Jesus. Like, he has a glow around him when he walks around. It's like, I'm actually shook to talk to him. Yeah,
that was genuinely like the
fair,
like lost, like heart skipped a beat kind of thing.
No,
and like lost
fair.
for words, and just came off the decks and was like, "Oh, big ups, man! Happy New Year!" In 5 minutes, I ran away ashamed and embarrassed at what I just said.
Yeah, there's certain ones in there. I remember the first time I played with Goldie, I was terrified.
Oh, I can imagine.
Or you get booted down the stairs.
John, if he hears that, you're getting booted down next
We call it that, you know what? We do, like, the stairs treatment is the thing that I say quite a lot. Like, me and Tom were writing a tune, and the project name was, what was the project? It was basically, the project name was like a Goldie tune. And I was like, Tom, we literally can't call a tune this because I don't want the stairs treatment. Like, legitimately, yeah.
I think it is quite a discussed term now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
he's chilled out a lot now, man.
Well, he does yoga, innit? So.
But yeah, it's like one of them ones where, like, you know, someone who's that much of a pioneer and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, there's levels, and like some people are just on that level. Yeah, but it's nice when you bridge it, and then it's like all of a sudden he's like belling me up as fucking Higgsy, and I don't actually speak to Goldie. I have a conversation with Higgsy, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" I'm running out of the workshop at work, like, "Hold on a minute, like this is Goldie, but he's being Higgsy," and then he just ends the conversation with Higgsy. I'm like walking back in, like, "What the fuck?"
That was the most confusing shit ever.
but it was one of the funniest things that's happened to me. I was like, "This is fucking nuts." But yeah,
I like my sleep too much, man. If it's like 3 a.m, I get that Thailand phone number popping up. Swear that, mate. Higgsy answer phone, thank you.
Jokes. So everyone has a phone call Goldie story, don't they?
No, I don't.
No. Just you, mate.
Yeah, everyone's got one.
It's definitely not just me. Trust me.
I don't. I used to live with HLZ. Emilio, and we lived in like Shoreditch way together, and I remember just hearing him like shouting in his room at like fucking 3-4 in the morning. Something like that. I was like, what the fuck? And next morning, he obviously couldn't wait to tell me, so like knocked on my door early in the morning. He was like, "Hey Mike, so Goldie phoned me last night to just like tell me." No, I don't know what that was. Emilio's a fucking don, man. I love him so much. Like living with him was fucking funny, man. Like, but I'll just quickly tell this story. We had some Norwegian guy living with us for like a week. And he was just like, he was doing a hairdressing course or like a barbering course. And I went out one night, I was fucking got out my nut and come home, and I didn't really sleepwalk or anything. And then this guy like messaged Emilio at like 6 a.m. He was like, "So Mike's like come into my room naked, just switched the light on and just started walking around my room." He was like, "Is this normal?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." Like, next day, I bought him some beers to say sorry and that. I was like, "Oh mate, I'm so embarrassed." Like, he said that I just picked up a towel and just wrapped it around me and just walked out again. Just fucking abusing our housemates. So. Jesus Christ.
So you said you never sleepwalk. So that was like the first and last. One time only.
Bro, I don't even. Maybe I do. Maybe no one's like told me before. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, fuck.
Fucking joke.
Playing twice as many sets as you actually think you are. You're just doing half of them asleep.
I used to live with my dodgy uncle, and he never mentioned it.
Right, so switching gears a little bit, I do want to talk about, because you mentioned being out of your nut a couple of times.
Yeah,
that was old Mozey.
Yeah, that was the proper Mozey, mate.
That was the proper Mozey. Yeah.
You got the skeleton of a man now, fucking shell of a man.
Drinks bare herbal teas and that now.
Not even, just fizzy drinks and kebabs, mate. Like, people are shocked. People are like, if you're vegan and you're sober, like you must be well healthy. I'm like, you are fucking mistaken. Trust me. Like. Yeah, man, I was a bit of a fucking party animal, like massively, really. And didn't really ever see it as a problem as such, but I think no one does. Do you know what I mean? Unless it gets really bad, unless you're like waking up with black eyes and stuff like that. Our society is fairly normalised that you go out and get fucking blind drunk or coked up or whatever. People are just like, yeah, standard, like good lads. And it just got to the stage with I knew the music stuff was going to pop off before it did, really, and I didn't really say too much to many people because people would be like, how would you know that? But really, I knew that it was about to kick off, and I knew that it was going to get to where it is now. I was always that self-confident. And for that reason, I was just like, I want to give myself the best shot at it that I've got. And I know that I need to be sober to do that. I knew that if I was still getting on it, I definitely would have fucked it by now because I'm a piss taker as it is. Do you know what I mean? I take the piss out of everyone and things like that. But I don't really know. I do know my limits, but I'll end up pushing it too far. And there's people that haven't got the same sense of humour, and some people are a little bit sensitive and things like that. And they're things you don't really look at when you're drunk, you know. And your opinion, or my opinion, used to be, well, if they don't like that humour, that's their fucking fault. Do you know what I mean? I don't want them as a fucking mate. whatever. I was never horrible to anyone, but in my opinion, if someone couldn't take the banter, then I didn't really want them as a friend. So it was well, fuck them. Like,
you don't want to have to like tread on eggshells around the people
exactly.
in your life.
So I wasn't horrible to anyone, but I didn't really hold back, and that's not the way to be in a professional situation. Do you know what I mean? Because there are people that are sensitive for whatever reasons, and there are people that get upset about things, and if you're going to be a good fucking human and an adult in a professional situation, you need to be aware of that. So I sort of thought, right, I need to rein it in. And there was a couple of situations where I was like getting on it and getting home and just sort of thinking to myself, is this the life that I want? Do you know what I mean? I'm getting into my 30s now. Do I want to still be doing this when I'm 40, or do I want something different? And I thought, if I don't stop it now, I'm never going to stop it, because once you start DJing, then the drinks are free anyway. Do you know what I mean? So
it's encouraging this scene.
100%, man. And if you're touring, and it's all one big fucking party after that.
Yeah.
And I miss it. Do you know what I mean? I can't lie. I was
gonna ask that. Yeah, like,
yeah, man. I definitely miss it. Like, it was a big part of my personality, and that was like the hardest part to get over, really. The hardest part to deal with psychologically is you attach so much of this sort of false persona of being the big, loud, drunk person, and you think that it's a separate thing to yourself. And I sort of dealt with that by meditation and things like that, and mindfulness quite a bit, sort of learning about, the sort of falseness of ego and shit like that. And once you sort of start understanding that, then you sort of realise, well, no, that wasn't my personality. That's just something that I did. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was just an action. But yeah, like I said, I do miss it. I used to love getting absolutely mash up, and that's the unhealthy part, really. Because when you look back, I didn't. Although I did enjoy just a couple of pints, when I had a couple of pints, in my head I'm thinking,
that was the gateway, wasn't it?
Oh mate, I'm thinking I can't wait to drink 10 pints, and then I can't wait to get on it, and then I can't wait to keep going for 2 days. Like, I just loved pushing it to the extreme all the time. And yeah, I mean, I'm happier for it, and I'm glad I did, because like I said, I definitely would have fucked something up, or said something wrong to the wrong person, or not taking it seriously, and not being able to, it's tough enough with fucking like 1,000 miles driving on the weekend. It's tough enough just doing that, or doing like, a flight and 2 trains and shit like that. To do that with a fucking hangover, and then
or a come down and stuff, bro. You're not doing yourself any favours, are you?
Know what I mean?
I found that I actually developed like a bit of a fear of flying after a while, because I realised what it was. It was, do you remember when I told you when I had that panic attack in Berlin or whatever?
Yeah, I was just thinking.
That's what it was. It was like literally playing a show on a Friday, then flying to Europe to play another show on a Saturday, and basically the whole time either being on it or like hungover or on a come down.
Yeah.
And then, but come Sunday, because I still work a full-time job, I'm like getting home at like 8 p.m. on a Sunday, but I've got work on Monday morning. And that anxiety just became this like crazy loop. Yeah. And to the point where now then I associated that flight home with like it's just mad, like fear-inducing thing. Yeah. But it's really interesting that you talk about that, man, because like I said, I've been doing it for 5 months, I think 5 months in. And like that whole, was it me? Was it my personality? Was it just something that I did? That's really just, I don't know, it's really struck a chord with me, man. That's
I think a lot of people have that, man. They really do. A lot of people, because the ones that usually give up the drink are the ones that drunk a lot. Do you know what I mean? You rarely come across someone that's like, I've gone sober. Yeah, I had one pint every couple of weeks. People don't bother. Do you know what I mean?
So true.
So the people that stop are the ones that are the big drinkers, and like DRS stopped and Dubai.
A lot of people, a lot of people have kind of, we were saying in our little pre-season 2 like preamble, like weirdly, like a lot of DJs are getting there like on their own terms, and then just like realizing I need to reduce this part of my life to improve this part of my life.
I think you have to, man. Like I'm cut from, I mean, most of us are cut from the same tree with this, and it's like, I feel like I got to a point where I'd perfected the full-time work, full-time sesh, somehow survive the week.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd done that, but you did.
It's long. You're just clinging on during the week, to be honest. You're just clinging on.
The thing is, at times, like because obviously, if I think like when I was touring back with like Wilco, and you're doing like two free shows a weekend, working full-time, like I was a lot younger then, and like I had like had the minerals for it to a certain extent. Don't get me wrong, Monday, Tuesday, obviously not firing at work, but like practice makes perfect, man. I was good at the sesh. Like if there's one thing,
you're fantastic at the sesh.
If there's one thing I've been good at in my life,
master sesh. Master sesh.
It sounds like you're similar though. Like literally, like you got that willpower, you got the mental strength for it. But then, like what I started to realize recently, and even like probably prior to like having a daughter, which has obviously been the main thing that's kind of made me be like, right, I need to fucking switch it up, was just that, you know, you do just get older and it does become more mentally taxing. And even though, you know, probably didn't have as many gigs I have done in the past, it's like that full-time work-life balance. And then, you know, getting on it at the weekend, it just wasn't working for me. And I haven't given up booze completely. Like I did 3 months off before Christmas. I'm doing 3 months now. Some I'm going to pick and choose my moments and stuff and try and find the balance. But if I can manage that, I'll be really happy. Now I'm sort of at a point where I've done 3 months off about 4 times in my life now, and I've just realised so many more benefits from it. And every time I do it, I see a new sort of positive thing come out of it. And it's like, I would just like to be like, I don't know, I'm able to like balance it, which is just something I've never been able to do. Like it's always like I'm going ham. Like
we've got a double bubble as DJs, man, because like Mike said, as a nation, our whole social interaction is built upon the pub. Like, when was the last time, like, you know, a group of mates want to meet up and it wasn't at the pub, or you go, like, even if you go to the cinema, you go pub afterwards. Like, do you know what I mean? The pub is part of that,
of course, man.
Makeup at any point. And then you got the DJ thing where, like you said, you turn up to a gig, you're given a whole 70cl bottle of Grey Goose or whatever. But like, here's this thing that you need to perform with. I'm like, well, you know.
It gets boxed off. Like it's nothing.
And it's gone.
And that like, to normal people is like a ridiculous amount of booze drinking a night. It's like, you know, when Alex Free From Sleep's giving you your second bottle of tequila, you've probably got a problem.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 riders for you, Rich.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sweet.
But do you know what you said? Like the thing you said about like you'd have the full-time job and then you're gigging all weekend and stuff like that. I think that one of the reasons that a lot of DJs and stuff find it so easy, and like that's why you get caught in a trap, because it becomes so easy and you can do it. I think by the time you get to that stage that you've made it or whatever, most people have done like 10 years of this crazy fucking work life, like double bubble, like you were saying. And like, because I get people all the time, like I started like a mentoring thing with a load of like, it ended up like 6 or 7 girls that were on the course, and like one by one over like a few weeks all dropped out, and they was like, you know, I've got uni stuff that I need to do, I've got work stuff I need to do. And like people say it all the time, like you have to be doing so many fucking hours like every week because you're working full time and you're doing that, that I think then when like you get this extra stuff that comes on, like the sesh and all stuff like that, it's light work. Do you know what I mean? Because you're like, I'm used to doing fucking 3 hours sleep a night because I've had to like build a music career at the same time as doing a full-time fucking job. So like where most people might be like, oh mate, I need them 10 hours like after work, or I need that. You're used to doing like 2 hours, because you've done that like out of choice for like 10 years. So that when you add like gear into it, you're like, out of mine, 2 hours. Or like even now when we're touring and stuff, you do an hour's sleep and you're like, I know I'm all right on that, like, because I've done it so many times.
Christ, so. there's times where I'm sure we've all gone, I've got 3 hours to have a kip. I won't, because I'll feel worse. We've opted to just sack off the only 3 hours of kip you're going to get.
Phone instead.
Like, why do we do that?
Well, we spoke about this on Saturday, do you remember? Because there's that other thing as well, which happens to me all the time, is where you play a gig and then you go back to your hotel. If you haven't gone to the afters,
you're still up for 2 hours.
I still ain't going to sleep for 3 hours because the adrenaline that's just pumping through your body, you're not going to sleep. Like, you're just going to be on YouTube for 3 hours.
Do you know what I found helped that? Weed.
Wanking. 100%, man.
Wow, I love how you both said that in unison. I went straight in for the weed and you were like, wank.
The two self-confessed absolute sesh heads just confessed to wanking themselves to sleep.
Listen, I've done too many nights on the gear that now, if I'm getting back to a hotel room, mate, that erection is getting made use of. because I know what it's like.
It's been 10 years of
erectionless hotel rooms. I know what it's like when it's not there. So now, but I don't care if I'm just fucking knocking over glasses and stuff.
I'm just happy to see him.
I'm using that boner. Like, fucking hell.
No nuts wasted.
Oh, bro, 1,000,000%, though.
That's so funny, man. But yeah, because I saw you post about just like, you know, people wanted to talk to you about the whole.
I fucking regretted that, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what was the response like to that? Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah,
right?
I could have bet.
I said, people, you got the wrong number. This was only for content, mate. I'm still fucking drinking. No, it's crazy, man. It is actually crazy. Like, I'm not that person that shares like screenshots of messages and stuff like that, but like some of them, I've just been fucking mad. Like some of the messages, like you like when I first sort of started talking about it, one of the ones you get all the time, you get people come up to me at raves out of their fucking box and they're like, mate, the stuff you post about sobriety. I'm like, bruv, you're off your nut, right? What are you talking about? Like, come back to me when you're sober, man. Like, but like people just want to talk, do you know what I mean? But like the people that are genuine, like I've had people come up to me and they're like, oh, me and my girlfriend have been sober for 6 months. Like we listened to your thing, and then like after that, like you suggested so and so book. We read that, and people have done it off the back. And then there's other people that have said, you know, I really needed. They'll message me like, I've been sober for a while. I'd nearly slipped up. You know, I watched your so and so and that, and then that's fucking deep, man. Do you know what I mean? Like I try, like, there's not really a lot you can say back to people. You're just like, oh, wicked, like, big up and all that. But, like, it is insane. Like, I've even had, like, friends of mine that have messaged me and been like, look, I'm fucking having trouble with gear at the minute and stuff like that. And I've listened to your Q&A that you did, and that sort of, like, convinced me to go and do a meeting tomorrow and shit like that. So, yeah, it's fucked, man. I think it just helps people hearing people talk about it, no matter who it is.
Sure,
I mean, that's wild. I mean,
support network's key.
We're talking about like how we're all in a position where we're lucky enough to have people come up to us every now and then and go, "Oh my god, man, your music changed my life." But bro, you're literally out here like helping. Like, I don't want to put that pressure on you, bro. But like you are, like, well done.
Yeah, if I could get some money out of it, it'd be fucking great.
I do want to
200 quid a text.
Yeah. It's like OnlyFans, but just for sober people.
Talk to Frank. Talk to Mose.
Now I want to shout out some books because Oscar Sustance, he's been sober for almost a year. And when I told him that I was doing it, he basically sent me a list of books that I thought I read like 3 of them, fucking sick. So just very quickly,
go for it, man.
Yeah, so ones that he sent me were Alcohol Explained, This Naked Mind Control, Alcohol and You, The Unexpected Joy of Being Sober. That one's wicked.
That's the one that I read before I went sober.
And then Blackout and Dry. So yeah, there's like 5 recommendations if anyone's looking to hop on the train. Check them out. Yeah,
that Unexpected Joy is like really hit home with me because she's, you know, worked in London. She's like she was a similar age, and although like her story was quite intense, but I think whatever your situation is, it helps hearing people from a similar situation. That's what I've said to people. If you're like bang into your football or something like that, then look for a footballer that's gone sober. If you're if you're really into your fitness, look for that. And like for me, it was just I was working in London, so you're surrounded by that pub lifestyle and house parties and things like that. So hearing her talk about how to get around that really, really helped me. And just hearing one person that you can relate to normalise it. Like the fact that I knew that helped me is why I sort of talk so openly about it now, because I know that it only takes one person that you think you can relate to, and you're like, oh fuck, if they can do it, you know.
Well, this is it. Yeah, this is definitely it. I feel like, but to your point, seeing so many of my friends in the same scene start to do that was like a huge thing for me, because it was like we were the guys at the party together, and now they're suddenly like sober, and it's like, oh wait, it can't be that difficult to do it.
Yeah.
No, definitely, man.
I think the youth of today are actually a bit more like a bit less on it than we were.
100%.
From what I see, I don't know if that's, you know, if that transfers across all the sort of different like types of raves and stuff, but they seem to, I think it's partly like Instagram generation, like looking after themselves to like look good and stuff like that, and then a bit maybe like, you know,
it's one addiction for another, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Dad.
But like, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because I think if it like continues, it'll be, I don't know, like, what direction do we see, like, the rave scene going if that's the case? Because
this is a whole topic.
Yeah, because it's like a paradox, really, because like, like, you know, being able to like do what we love doing revolves around people really coming to watch us and get fucked up, and now we're sitting there being like, maybe don't do that, or like, we're not obviously not advising people, like, just like opening up the conversation, but at the same time, it's like, if that did happen all of a sudden, like, where does that leave the rave scene?
Yeah. I mean, a big part of the rave scene is drugs. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think you can separate them. I actually don't think you can separate them.
I disagree.
I've got to say, as much as everyone as well.
Mushrooms for everyone. That's
mushroom
what
rave
it
is
is.
special.
Yeah, mushroom raves.
I've got to say I disagree there, because as much as I think the drugs are a massive part of rave culture, I think it doesn't even come close to how big music is a part of that.
No,
and I think ultimately that will always shit on the drug culture.
Yeah, but you ain't gonna drop pills and go see Bruce Springsteen. Do you know what I mean? It's different.
True.
Like,
I'll fucking hell.
but I also happily will and had not dropped pills and gone to drum and bass raves, and also not drunk and gone to drum and bass.
For me, it's not about that. Like, it doesn't matter what the people are doing, because how does the club survive if someone's not drinking? And then, like, how do the events survive? That's more my point. It's not really. It's not as much what the kids are doing, because I think the kids will still want to go to the raves, but then said clubs going, hold on a minute, what are we selling to these kids?
Rich Visionobi,
yeah, but they'll just charge, like, the clubs will make their money when they'll just charge, you know, they charge a fortune for water or soft drinks and stuff like that.
Or just increase the door price, because now everyone's got more money because they're spending £8 on a beer.
Yeah, but that's the problem though. We're in this cost of living crisis. You can't increase
No, but you can turn up. You can double a ticket price if suddenly people aren't spending 50 quid on beer behind the bar, or 50 quid on someone else.
Do you know what I reckon would be, and I reckon it'd be quite cool, is it'd go back to like that sort of warehouse era where you just like rent a fucking venue. It's a shell. You set up a bar, because obviously you're gonna have to have a bar regardless. But like, obviously you're just charging entry because you've just rented a fucking space. That's effectively like what illegal raves were. They didn't rent a space. They just fucking had a space in it, and it's just like, come in, get involved. And it's like, if the wave continues, obviously this is, you know, fucking speculation, because I don't really see this getting like, the next generation could be fucking a bunch of messheads. It's only like 10-year cycles. You don't really know what's coming. Everyone gets bored of social media, like, fuck this shit later on.
I do think club culture is dying though. I think
COVID ain't out.
When I say club culture, I mean, let's say sub 1,500 cap, or like sub 1,000 cap.
Yeah, agreed.
That culture is dying.
The more intimate, like, which is honestly one of the
reasons.
Favorite,
that's my favourite culture.
We've got less. We got, you know, I openly say I got fucking less bookings, and I've had the worst fucking year for bookings, like, career wise.
Yeah,
like in the last 12 months, 100.
There's a few things driving that in there. There's the whole energy price thing.
There's cost of living.
Cost of living. What's it being called? Cause he lives. You saw that. You see that?
I did see
that. Cause he lives.
Someone got a red card for that one, didn't they?
Do you know what though? Like, I think a lot of it, like, everyone says about the cost of living crisis and shit like that, brother. I'm telling you, most students ain't got a cost of living crisis.
True. Yeah.
So I think a lot of that.
No, I meant for the clubs themselves. So like,
true. With the energy and stuff like that, I agree. But I think, I think bars and pubs and stuff like that is one thing, because that's true. If you're in your 40s and all of a sudden you're skint, then you might miss out on a night out. But I think students ain't skint. Like, most of them that are going, like, a lot of students have fucking come from all right backgrounds anyway.
All wearing Palace and that.
Yeah, exactly, man. So I don't think that's the, like, I think a lot of it has come from, like, the lockdown, and they've just lost how they rave. Do you know what I mean? Like, you haven't got like this generational pass down thing that you used to have.
Well, they turned 18 in a lockdown.
I was going to say, there's a whole generation of kids that turned 18 when there was no clubs.
Exactly. And I think a lot of them got spoilt, because when they were allowed back out, there were these festivals that they could go to, and they're
larger scale ones. Isn't it?
And they're used to this thing that, like, there's these big promoters as well that, like, the kids are thinking, well, I can go to a rave or a festival and I can see Brucey, Hybrid Minds, Headaches. I can see all of these.
80 quid.
Mozey.
Instead of having to
Mozey on the main stage. Don't worry about it. And then, like, you know, like when we were raving, there would be, like a lot of the stuff that we play at as well, there's just one headliner or one act, and then support, and that's even if you get a headliner. A lot of the time there wasn't. There's just these acts on, and like you'd still go because you love the music so much. I think that's what's shifted quite a bit. Is that that kids have really been spoiled for this first like 6 months when they come out of lockdown. That they thought, well, fuck that. I'm not going to go and spend like 15 quid on a ticket to see one act when next week I could go to worried about Henry and see 40 acts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes, good point.
Hit the nail.
Yeah, it's a good point.
By the way, worried about Henry, keep booking me. This wasn't about you, bro.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, not a plug, but definitely a plug. Yeah. No, fair.
Yeah, surely they'd go and see the wonderful lineup of Worried About Henry.
Bargain hunters.
Should we do some quickfire rounds?
Yeah.
We've got,
I might get my camera out for this.
Yeah, we'll
in case I fuck something up. I'll delete it if it goes wrong.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll let you get set up.
Hang on. There, can I see? Oh.
Do you want me to film you, mate? That's what MCs are good for, isn't it?
Do you know what I realised?
Spit some bars, yeah, but yeah, if you can just film me.
Do you know what I realised? I haven't updated this question list because one of them is opinion on the foghorn.
What are you trying to say?
Right. Well, because you know what? So far,
foghorns have been dead for a while now.
I think that's the most relevant question.
What I will say is, obviously, our podcast so far has been quite headsy. You know, we've had some pretty legit artists on. Yeah, this is the first time we've had a joke man on.
Now you got a bit. Now you got a busy one on, mate. Yeah. That's the difference.
Can't even front. That's a very good point.
We're moving up in the world. What can we say?
We're stepping up for season 2. Well, now, what is your opinion on the foghorn?
I don't really care. I mean, it's like they've not really been about for a while, have they?
What's the new style? Wobblers.
There's a few things, man, but like I just like it all comes and goes. Really, like the new thing at the moment, I suppose, is like proper. Like Belgian-y type jump up, like the sort of harder type jump up is coming back in a way, but things just come and go, man. Like it really does. Like the foghorn thing never really bothered me. I think it was all just a bit of an internet hype. Do you know what I mean? And like you'd get like a load of people slagging it off, and then you'd go out raving, and Randall would be playing it. So then people would then go, "Oh, actually, no, it's all right. I don't mind the stuff that Randall plays." You're like, "Well, he's playing the same tunes, bruv." Do you know what I mean?
Nah,
so like people were just waiting for you know someone else to play it. But yeah, I don't know what the current trends and stuff are. I mean, I try to sort of make a bit of everything, and hopefully something lands. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair. First ever vinyl, any genre?
I got given some vinyl, and it was like old school hardcore stuff, and I think it was like an old school hardcore version of the Pac-Man beat.
Sick.
It was fucking wild. But I was never really a proper vinyl kid, but I just ended up with a load of like old school hardcore.
That's how I got started as well, man. My first one I got given was Distorted Minds T-10.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big tune.
That's a big tune.
Bring that one back.
I might have to start playing that again, to be fair.
Do you remember the drum step version of it?
No,
I don't.
Yeah, they did like a VIP or something, a remix on it. Yeah,
that was
mad.
big.
Mad.
A drum step trend, fucking hell. Let's bring that back.
That
original
came
Sins
and
album,
went.
bruv, like they did half the album was drum step.
To be fair, that
Sick.
album was it Grow Your Wings?
Yeah, that was a good
That
album.
album
bruv.
was nuts.
There's actually so many
album
bangers
was
on that
absolutely nuts. Yeah, I got that on vinyl too, I think.
album. Same.
Got that on vinyl.
Yeah, got that on vinyl.
We're in the vinyl round. This is
Yeah,
where we can talk about it.
got that on vinyl.
No more vinyl questions.
Yeah, I've got a few Hazard vinyls as well.
I want to film you.
What is the maddest thing you've seen in a rave as a DJ?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know you must have seen some madness.
I don't know, really.
Someone brought their birth certificate in once.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
To be fair, that probably is
shit that happened to you, not that you
Yeah,
saw.
to be fair, most of the mad stuff has just been happening to me as I'm raving. So yeah, sign someone's birth certificate, signing people to get tattoos. I think it's just fans always pop something out of the blue and really, really fucking surprise you, man. Do you know what I mean? You think you've reached the limit, and then they just step it up. So yeah, I love it.
No, absolutely. If you weren't doing music, what other creative or maybe non-creative career would you choose? Actually, to be fair, I don't think we spoke about what you were doing before you went full time.
No,
anyway.
I was. I worked. So I started as a plumber and a heating engineer, and then gradually got into. What did I do? I went travelling, and when I come back, I was like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna just have a complete change of career." Went to uni for a year. I think I went to the same uni as you, or was it?
Did you go CM? Or
CM.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I done a year at CM. I done
you know, Neo Archives went there as well, bruv.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I went down and gave a speak to her.
Did she do the full course? Because everyone that I know basically does like a year and then they're
dropped out.
Yeah,
that's what I did. Yeah. I did the 2 and bailed on the 3rd year. I was like, fuck that, bruv.
I done a year and I was like, do you know what? There's YouTube for this. I'm not fucking paying for it.
I used that second year we used that second year there to finish our first album.
Yeah.
And that student loan.
Student loan,
that was literally it. Time and money. Thank you, university.
Did you do a lecture for Neo Archives and she was like, let's do a tune together, and you were like, nah.
Yep, met her. I went back to let me rephrase that. Went to the university, gave a talk, met this very, very lovely young woman who was telling me about her music and her production and the art style and the music videos, and she does it all herself. And I was like, that's fucking sick. And she sent me a link. Me and Harry sat there and we listened to it, and we just didn't pull our fingers out of our ass and hit her up. And before you know it, she'd fucking blown up, bruv.
Yeah.
And just absolutely
She's
popped.
gone past everyone. Like, fully.
Absolutely
she smashed
her, bruv.
it.
Like, literally was sat there in a university hall a couple of years ago being like, I'm doing this all on my own. And everyone was like, maybe you should try get some help. And she's just fucking slaying it. Like, absolutely killing it.
Sick.
Props. Back to you.
Yeah, it's not all about Neo Archives, yeah. she ain't in now, is she?
No, sadly, I didn't meet you when I was at my university, Rob.
It's a shame she's not in now.
All we could get was Mozey. So I was doing post production and like sound engineering and stuff like that for like TV and ads and shit like that. That's what I was doing in the end. And my company was actually, you know, they were decent. They was like, when the music stuff was all kicking off, they was like, look, we can put you down to like 3 days a week if you need, and we can do this, we can try and work with you. And I'd just like taken on a load of bookings, and I was looking at a New Zealand tour, and I was like, look, I know the way this is going. Like this isn't, it's only going to get worse. Like, so rather than fucking drag yous along, I might as well just cut now and give it a go. So I was definitely I would have been doing that, but I don't know what I'd be doing. Like, I probably would have got bored of that and done something else. So I don't ever believe in doing everything for a lifetime. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's too many opportunities, like I said earlier, to keep doing something. And it's not like the old days where you get a trade at fucking 15 and then that's you till you're 70. Do you know what I mean? I think anyone, if they fancy trying something, should just fucking try it. If obviously that's quite a privileged thing to say, but you know, if you can, then try and give something a go.
I rate that. What is the maddest rider? You don't have to name who, but what is the maddest rider you've ever seen? You can name a name if you want to. No.
I don't think you can answer this question because, like, I will say a rider and people will know who that rider is. Because we all know everyone's riders. So
well, we might know, but
I don't know, man. Like, I've never got all the champagne. Like, I've never really been a big champagne drinker. But then I suppose, I don't know, maybe if I was still doing like gear and stuff, like, and there was like the opportunity just to rock up, smash a gram and knock out some bolly, I probably would. I'd be like, do you know what? Yeah, give me another fucking bottle of that. Like, but yeah, like most of them are just fairly normal, I think, man. Like, and I never used to get like massive riders. Like you'd see like you'd see like a big headliner.
Unnecessary amount.
But then you sort of realise afterwards, well, like, you know, it's for the. I sound like I'm defending it. It's for the touring party. Do you know what I mean? Like it is like if you're bringing like your missus and her mates and stuff like that, and then you're playing in front of like 15,000 people, and you go, oh, by the way, can someone go and get my missus a beer, please? Do you know what I mean? It looks a bit shit. But
I mean, I've left the alcohol on my rider for my mates. For that reason, so that when mates come, they can just have some.
I did at the start, but then like I left like gin on there, and then I'm doing like online posts about like, yeah, I'm sober and all that. And I'm like, by the way, stick that gin in a fucking carrier bag for me. Do you know what I mean? So I had to get rid of that. But like my rider is 12 non-alcoholic beers and 2 sparkling waters. It is the cheapest rider they could ever fucking get, and it's always the one that's wrong. Like I turn up, they're like, oh yeah, we got you four non-alcoholic beers. I'm like, come on, man! Like they're literally like £4 for 4 or something. Like, please just get me a few more. Like, or you turn up, they're like, oh, we couldn't get any non-alcoholic beers. Are you all right with Cokes? You're like, yeah, all right. Like,
yeah, I'll just drink 5 Cokes.
I know, but
that is actually. I was thinking the other day, like, it's so funny how like you can go to the pub and drink 8 pints and that's fine. But if you had 8 pints of Coke, people are like, "You right? Are you right, mate?" It's like, is everything okay at home?
But do you know what? Like I don't know what you've been like since like drinking the non-alcoholic beers. Like I can tank them. Like, if I play a set and it's quite hot in there, I can do like the majority of 12 like non-alcoholic.
They're super easy to drink.
Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite brand at the moment?
I don't know. It depends. Like if I'm just drinking lagers, I actually quite like the Bud Zeros. The lagers are pretty nice. But yeah, like I do like the fruity ones, and like you get some like sort of flashy. Like we've got the shop at Clapton does some decent ones.
The banging shop.
Yeah. For like £6 for a can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have you ever noticed yourself getting tipsy because you're drinking the 0.5% ones?
No. It's normally the ket that I've done at the same time. It sends me a bit wobbly. You know? No, I haven't. I have like thought before where I'm like, either whether it's because it's hot in there or whatever, but I've had a couple and I think, fuck, have I drunk something that's not non-alcoholic? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And normally, like, I probably wouldn't care, but then I'd be thinking about the driving and shit like that. So, but I'm normally well careful. Like, people like ravers have like caught me on camera. There's like been a few of them floating about before of me. I was in Warehouse Project and I'm like opening a beer and drinking a beer, and then you can just see me like staring at the can. People are posting it. They're like, Mosey's really into what he's drinking because I'm like looking up at it and then like licking my lips and then like having another swig and then looking back at the can again. People are like, what is he looking at that can for? Like, but yeah, it's like, it does make you a bit paranoid when like it's dark and you're like, is this
that's why I've got Lucky Saint on my rider, because they obviously only do 0%. So it's easy for that one.
I don't really like Lucky Saint.
Do you know?
Man, no. I swear there's a lot of gluten in it. It always makes me feel a bit like
it's bloaty.
Dizzy.
Yeah, it's bloaty as well.
I
like Heineken Zero is decent though, actually.
Bro, that's what most of them get. Like, and I think that's all right, really.
Yeah, it just tastes like water, really.
Yeah.
I had a sour beer one yesterday actually called Clearhead, which was the absolute lick, but it wasn't 0%, it was 0.5.
Oh yeah, that'll do me, man.
0.5 is fine though,
mate. I love sours as well.
I got pissed off 0.5. I drank about 10 at a fucking Sofa Sound in Bristol and was like, oh fuck, I fucked it.
I'm actually mashing now.
I wasn't playing, I wasn't driving, luckily. I was just there for the weekend of Ray Gun, but then I looked at it and I was like, oh, 0.5. I was like, shit. I just thought it was 0%. It was the first time I realised that they actually did that. And I was like, I'm actually a little bit tipsy. I was like, I fucked it.
But it was like when you're in school drinking Shandy Bass. You're like, if I drink 10 of these, mate.
Or in America on the light beers.
Yeah.
Sorry,
guys. Oh my God, yeah. Miller Lite. What is that?
Quick, smash it on my head.
White Claw.
Shout out American fans, though, innit? So.
Yeah, I was thinking I just got cancelled before I've even...
never been on tour, they never will go.
You're coming out with us later this year, though, aren't you? End of the year or start of next year?
Nah, I think that she was trying to get me on that one and it's not worked out.
Yeah, not the first one, but we're going to do another, aren't we?
All right, okay, we've all got US tours.
It's a bit plugging, all right? We're plugging.
Yeah, not the first one, the second one.
The second one of the year.
No. We were talking about the 1 year duo visa. That's why we got to go twice in 1 year.
Because
that's it for 5 years.
Get your money's worth.
It's an absolute bump, that visa, to be fair.
Yeah, Mel at Cybergroove, innit? Like, shouts out Mel. She's trying to hook it up.
So you're going to go to America before you go to New Zealand? That is crazy.
I can't, I mean, I don't think I'll ever get to New Zealand, mate.
You will.
At this rate.
Mate, they let anyone in these days. So. I've been twice. That is crazy.
Whoa.
Fucking
absolute shade.
Casting shadow.
Just on that rider thing, one thing I did learn, funny enough, in New Zealand is that, so Calix and TB, they won't want me saying this, they had on their rider, for when their set finishes, a fresh pizza delivered like to the backstage just as the set finishes. I tell you, it was an absolute touch.
That's genius.
That's an absolute touch. That
it's very clever. That.
Yeah, Serum really wants a kebab.
I saw that on Instagram.
I was tempted to say to him, look, if we do a back to back, let's get some content. I'll just go and get a kebab and get fucking like on the back of a motorbike or whatever. But then I thought, imagine if I can't get in. So like I'm supposed to be like fucking playing Printworks or something. I'm just stuck outside with a kebab. Fuck.
That's social media content 101 right there.
Yeah.
That'd be even better, surely.
Yeah, the set would be better. I know that. Fucking hell. Me stuck out of it.
All right, we'll do one more. Okay, yeah. What's your favorite aspect of the current scene? Like, what's changed or happened recently that you like about the drum and bass scene?
Probably less Visionobi bookings, to be honest.
It was my time.
Got him.
You and the rest of the drum and bass community.
You and the rest of YouTube. Sorry, mate.
That's all right.
No, I mean, like I said earlier, I think that raves are a friendlier place. I think they're a safer place, which I think is good. I like that. I feel like the sets are more open. Like, I feel like people sort of play more of a variety. Like, when I was raving, like, I would have hated people playing a variety in their sets. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if I went to a jump up rave, I want to hear fucking jump up all night. And now that's not me. Like, I like a bit of variety. So I suppose that the opportunity is there to play what you want a little bit more, you know. Like, if you guys, for example, started playing jump up in your sets, people would be okay with that, and people are like, you know,
I don't know, man. I'm joking.
We spin a couple in jump up.
And that's what I mean.
I play boo tunes all the time. Shout out boo. Hold tight.
Yeah, I play jump up. I've got jump up friends.
I love jump up. I love jump up. I swear.
Yeah, so that's my point. I don't know what else I like really, man. I fucking love it all. Do you know what I mean? I love like what the scene has become now, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people like yearn for the old days where
gatekeeping though, innit?
Yeah, like people just want, like, people like what they like, and I just like that everything's a bit silly nowadays, really. Like, I like that you can fucking do what you want.
We were saying this actually, like, with because some like subgenres do lend themselves to a bit more like seriousness.
Yeah,
if I can say that. I don't think jump up's one of them, because if you look at jump up, we were talking about it's literally on the train back, weren't we? Like, I remember with like tunes like Rusty Sheriff's Badge coming out.
Yeah, man.
How can you call a tune Rusty Sheriff's Badge and then be like dressed in all black and like fucking screw facing the camera? It don't work. It actually does not work. Do you know what I mean?
But then, do you know what I do? Like, I was on tour with Culture Shock in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And it really, like, because I didn't really know any of them Warship guys. You know, I hadn't really met any of them or anything like that. And I was sort of unsure what, you know, I wasn't really sure about the branding because I'd never met anyone. And then, like, I really got it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you sort of get, like, when I was standing there at the back of watching Culture Shock play, and to see him, like, you know, all the lights are off and then it's all like orchestrated, how he comes on, and like the crowd fucking love it because that's what they've bought into.
It's
do you know what I mean?
Drama, isn't it?
Exactly. And like, I really, it all sort of made sense to me.
It's
and
part of the show.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there's space for all of it. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Even look at what Alex has done. Right, he's built this crazy brand in like 1985, and like it's all been very his way.
Yeah.
But then you just don't need that everywhere.
No, but
it works for some
it's
people.
Horses for courses. Like,
exactly.
you look at you know, Critical is very, like, Critical is what it is. You know, it's very cool and very serious and stuff like that. And then you've got other parts like Souped Up, which luckily for me is ridiculous. and like, but it doesn't mean that like the music's not serious. Like you were saying earlier, like the music can be serious.
Yeah.
But like the branding and like the relationships with the ravers and stuff is all, that's what makes it what it is. And it means that people that are really like that and people that are into that can have a chance to flourish there, and people that are really serious about their music can go to a label and be like that. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really good. And there's also like jump up stuff that's more serious. Like, you look at the Annex guys and things like that.
Yeah.
Like Similar and Annex, like, you know, their little branch of it is quite serious.
He's
and quite
like Similar. I was on tour with him in New Zealand, man. Never met him before. Like,
we just missed each other, didn't we?
Yeah, we just missed each other.
Because I was with Similar as well.
He's about it, man. Like, I was talking to him about music. Like, we actually did have that snares conversation backstage.
Yeah. No, he loves it, man.
He's a serious dude when it comes to that stuff, and he knows his shit.
Yeah. Can we stop rubbing in the New Zealand tour thing?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah. One day.
We'll get there. But no, I think what you're saying is completely right. And I guess my point is that like each scene or each little space should accept what the other space is doing, basically.
Yeah, man, definitely.
I think it already does it. Like, if you think about some of our like favorite producers, and you look how like effectively there's a lot of this like cool jump up floating around at the moment, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah,
it's already happened. Like, it's always happened like, to some extent.
Who's
but, like,
that dude? Napes. You know Napes?
Yeah.
Like we've been playing Napes tunes out. Like, and his tunes are sick, but he's like definitely very. I think he's on Born on Road, so definitely very jump up.
But I even mean like if you listen to like you know some of the stuff that like Sustenance and like Perez and like the people like
there's influences of jump up in there.
Loads of that coming through at the moment, and it is because if you look at it, like, you know, jump up's always been huge, you know, like since it evolved, but like at the moment I feel like it's having a particularly good run, and that is why ultimately a lot of people that are like heads you wouldn't associate with that being like, how can I do that but make it my own, and still keep the integrity of what I'm doing, like what I want to do, and I only mean that in the sense of because they're being true to themselves, but still have fun with that little pocket of D&B.
You're allowed to be influenced by everything in the circle.
Like when Skeppy did that Musket tune,
exactly
that.
Exactly that.
Fucking me and Harry, when we did the Circles bootleg, that was all because we wanted to write a tune that could stand up alongside a TI tune in a set. We were I love playing TI's tunes, and I want something that I could then mix out of a TI tune and doesn't fall flat, and like the mix still sounds snappy and punchy. And the Circles bootleg, that's why we did it. We were like,
you wanted views. No, shut up. You wanted views.
You can take the piss all you want. You can take all the piss you want, but go home and listen to it tonight, because you can. And listen to them drums, and then go and listen to any TI tune and tell me that I'm lying. Because honestly, I was like, I just love that man's drums. And I would love to try and make something
that
produced.
Do you know what I think? I think like the influence that jump up, because you know, the way that your guys' tunes can stand up in jump up sets, but other people's can't. And I think that a lot of people have taken like not only the influence from, you know, the sounds and the melodies and stuff like that, but I think a lot of people have listened to like some of the producers in you know, jump up, and like they listen to that and they're like, fuck, like it's loud and it's punchy and it's weighty, and because like people have been getting away with not having to do that for so long, that, you know, you're allowed to let it slip a bit. And like, you know, like a lot of Liquid and stuff like that, you listen to it and it's all beautiful and things like that, but the production of a lot of it isn't quite there. Fucking shook of a lid out of turn it up, fuck's sake. No, but it's true, and like I think that like the cross contamination almost has made people step up a little bit, and I think there's a lot of like Liquid and a lot of deeper stuff now that's a bit more rough and a bit more punchy, and I think it's fucking good for everyone.
And then you play a break tune and get sad again because there's nothing really that loud ever. And it's just like, what's the point?
It's funny this like one from an MC perspective as well, because it's like, to be an MC, really you want people to listen to what you're saying. And it's like, I come from like a jump up MC background, and now I'm like involved in deeper music where majority of people are like, get the fuck off the mic. It's like, it's kind of a bit of a paradox got myself in, really.
You really shot yourself with a foot there. Right?
Could have just stayed as a jump up MC and actually like maybe had a career as an MC, but instead, you know, I'll go over here and then just be like disappreciated for my entire career.
You need to smoke weed again, mate. That's the problem. You're not smoking enough weed.
Do you want to come get blazed up with me, bro?
That's the problem.
Why is that the problem, out of interest?
I don't know. I just feel like weed smoking MC is just like, I don't know, it's on another level, aren't they?
You're telling me that if I started smoking weed, I'd become a better MC. I think that's the best insult you've ever given me. Like.
Basically, yes.
That is the rawest
coming from a sober person as well.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But no, do you know what? What you're saying there is, because I see like, it's strange that the MCs that are the most lyrical and they produce albums and stuff like that. I then also you know I've seen Sense talk about it before, and I've seen other people talk about it, that they're like, well, I've done that for the art form, and then the bookings like aren't there as much. Do you know what I mean? And it's sort of, it's a shit situation to be, that like if you want to strive to make music and you want to strive that, then you're potentially sacrificing, you know, an income. Do you know what I mean?
It's a weird one. It's like, I look at it as like UK hip hop basically. I'm really a hip hop MC.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I still, going back to how you like take things, I've still got double time bars from like Jump Up days, and I still write double time bars because my whole thing is versatility. Really, I want to be able to jump on anything, and I do think I've got artillery.
Even garage, to be fair, man, he jumps in our garage and shelled it. Nah, real talk, you shelled it, bro.
Origins, sick, but like, I don't know, like, yeah, it's a tough one because I think a lot of the time in the deeper stuff, it's easy, like I said earlier, to get like disenchanted with it because, you know, you're not really getting, you're not going to be at the top. Like, realistically, if you look at like people in like, say, our like sort of side of the scene, for lack of a better like turn of phrase, how many of those MCs are actually doing it as a full-time job compared to Jump Up? You've got hundreds of people in Jump Up that are making bank, and they're making as much as the fucking DJs often. Whereas like literally, you're lucky to get fucking 300 quid if you're like top 10 over here, and it's like that means, you know, it's mad, like the difference in like stature for like a sort of liquid or minimal MC who gets often pigeonholed into the term host, which you know I fucking hate. And it's like that, the difference between that and someone who's like lenging bars, like, it's not like I don't come to leng bars. I leng bars probably more than most people in it. And it's like I want to be able to do that, but at the same time, realistically, if I said less, I'd probably get more bookings and more money.
Yeah.
Which is so fucked up. Yeah. Like, it's weird. I've never really understood it, but I guess that's why I just continue to hammer home my fucking deep, boring message and dire, miserable.
Anyone that'll listen.
Luckily, I'm on a podcast with you guys. So
that's at least 2 listeners. That's at least 2.
All right, man. We'll give you a chance. Kind of wrapping up. We'll give you a chance to do a shameless plug. Not your bookings, because we'll be here. We'll be here for the next hour. But like releases, maybe significant bookings. Yeah, like anything you want, really.
I'm playing at Lakota tomorrow, if you fancy that.
But just for the record as well, this show is probably going to go out in a month.
Yeah, don't say tomorrow.
I'm probably there again, to be fair.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. It's Tuesday tomorrow.
Fucking Tuesday.
What the fuck?
Tuesday night, mate.
Hold tight, Bristol, man.
It's Bristol, isn't it? Yeah.
No, do you know what? I've got like some fucking wicked shows coming up. I'm playing like Main Room Printworks for the first time in February, which I can't wait to do.
Is that on who's the promoter for that?
I think that's All Stars, and then again in March. But yeah, just some wicked shows, man. Like festivals and stuff. I fucking, like I said, I feel so fucking lucky to be doing it, man. I really do, and I just love I love playing and fucking dancing around behind the decks. It's fucking good fun. Release wise, I've got a couple of fucking VIPs actually that have just been fucking blowing up lately. Like me and Rusco did Hands in the Air, and that's like we VIP'd that, and that's just been popping off. So that'll be coming out at some point. Got a couple of others. I don't. Oh mate, I never know what to say when I'm talking about my own music, because it's just like I don't have like tons and big like stuff all planned and lined up. I just write stuff, and then it goes somewhere, and then it comes out one day.
Happens,
do you know what I mean? Yeah. I should be a bit more professional about the whole thing, but yeah, I'll just crack on.
It's working, so won't complain too hard.
Yeah, no, wicked. No, and do you know what? I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I've never really done a podcast like a proper one before. It's actually, it's good fun.
We're a proper podcast.
I'm fucking proper.
We're not. We're just going to call it a proper podcast. So endorsed by Mozey. Wow. We're going to dine out on that for the next year. Just bare clips of that on Instagram, just like proper podcast. Now we appreciate you having you on, man. Like we said, we want to try and rep all sides of drum and bass. To be honest, it's not just about one style. So really good.
Who else you got coming up? You got anyone spicy coming up?
Yeah, so we're going back to being chin strokery for the next episode. we've got Workforce on.
Nice.
But, we've got Ellen Lenz coming on as well.
Sweet.
She's absolutely killing it. And a few others that we're just trying to lock in dates and things like that. But plenty of interest. And like I said, I think we'll be more varied this year as well. So
yeah,
man.
No, wicked.
Wicked to have you on.
Looking forward to hearing it, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. So good to have you on, man. Big up for coming down. I know you're only local, but yeah.
It's nice. If it was South London, I wouldn't have bothered. I'm not going to lie.
We wouldn't be doing it if it's in South London, man. Don't worry. But yeah, big up for coming on.
Sweet.
That's been episode 1 of season 2. And like I said, we're going to try and be more consistent with these uploads.
Yep.
But yeah, shout out everyone listening, man. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.